everybody, welcome back to HitPoint, an anime news show, a JRPG news show, a niche news show, a show where Baku and I will be talking about everything and everything that catches our interest and or ire. We stream live every single Sunday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be previewing a lot of trailers, talking about some rumors and some industry news, and we'll be responding to super chats at the end of the episode. Baku, it's good to see you again, sir. How you been?
Oh boy, recovering from being sick, but doing okay. I'll give you guys a little bit more details in a minute. How are you feeling, sir?
I'm feeling pretty dang all right. It's been a couple of weeks since our last show, right?
Right.
Despite the fact that we stream every single Sunday, so except for every Sunday that we don't stream live.
Man. Well, we've got a lot to talk about, don't we?
Oh my God, so much. There's so much to really talk about. I don't know. Do we have time to set aside to talk about my my metaphor ReFantazio trip and everything, or
do you want to start with that, or do you want to? What do you want to do?
maybe we'll talk. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Yeah,
Okay.
just to keep the flow going. And before I forget, man, can I just say for just a moment, hey everybody, it's good to see you. I can't believe I nailed that intro. Gotta love it.
I've got to
But
admit that was
it goes-
that was the best.
It
ever
goes
seen.
so wrong so often that like I feel like when it actually nail it, I need to acknowledge it and just 2 years in, yeah, I finally got it right, guys. Let's
Give yourself a
go.
pat on the back, man. Give yourself a pat on the back. You deserved it.
Thank you. Oh man, but hey, it is good to be back streaming here, and we are streaming live on 3 different locations right now, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we are on YouTube, other YouTube, and on my Twitch channel. So yeah, so I have all kinds of like chat feeds to probably try to keep an eye on throughout today's episode.
Well, hopefully latency won't kill you there.
Oh no. It's I'm actually streaming all 3 directly from my computer. Yeah,
Okay.
doing some fancy OBS stuff. So anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and start talking and responding to some of the comments that we got from our last episode.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start with this one here from Joshua Castro 85, who says, thanks to the JRPG Weekly Update, I was able to find this new channel with ease. I think he's talking about the HitPoint YouTube channel. I subbed and liked so that the YouTube will push out future HitPoint episodes to my feed. And they had a question here for you, Baku. They said, what part of the US are you in?
I am near DC,
Near DC.
the capital.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
This,
cool. So,
it's the best answer I can give you.
oh yeah, I don't want your full address.
No, it's like people who live like near New York. You know, like they were like, oh yeah, I live in New York, but they don't live in New York.
That's
they
close
live
enough
in,
for
like,
most
Jersey
people.
or something. You know, like it's like that.
Yeah, exactly. I get that. Also, I did, sort of pick out that comment just to kind of nudge people and remind you all that the new HitPoint YouTube channel is it's its own thing right now. And if you want to continue to always see notifications and watch us live, we will eventually be moving over there once it has been more established. And if you want to help us get that more established, yeah, it'd be really helpful to go get subscribed over on that side of things and watch the back episodes over there for a bit. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, drop us a follow there. You know, like, help us out. Help us out.
Next up, here, I actually, there's another question here. I may as well read it because I'm yammering on it.
Sure,
I'm on a roll.
You're on a roll. Like go for it, Derek.
From Stone Noir, they say, not sure we'll ever see more than the Pixel remasters for Final Fantasy. I imagine Dragon Quest 1 through 3 is getting that treatment based on the success of Dragon Quest 11, and people are captured by the lore. I'd love to see more of the mana treatment. I wonder if they're talking about like the Trials of Mana, Visions of Mana treatment. The more of the mana treatment, but Square is being so careful in which games to do. Like, Chrono Trigger is too much of a darling to go anywhere near that, is what they say right now.
Yeah.
Hi.
Um, that's a good question. I think what they mean is, well, yeah, I mean, what they're really talking about is HD2D.
Hmm.
They haven't
Yeah.
spelled it out, but
Yeah.
I
In the
think that's what
context
they're
of the
really.
conversation from
Yeah,
last time, yeah, it
yeah,
was
that makes
very
sense.
much in response to a question about if we'd ever get Final Fantasy HD 2D.
So my personal belief is that nothing's too sacred when it comes to creative works.
Nothing
Once
should
every
be. Nothing
well,
should be.
once
Yeah.
something becomes like sacrilege and you can't touch it with a 9 foot pole, then that's it. That's the end of life. You
Yeah.
can't do anything with it. That's it. It's like this thing is perfect in every conceivable way, which I find hard to believe for anything other than you filled out the missing pieces with nostalgia. Fine, but that's my personal opinion. Is nothing's too sacred. Like, just try doing something with it, and if it doesn't work out, then say it doesn't work out and just admit that it didn't work out, right? And we'll
Yeah.
figure out why it didn't work out.
You
But
know,
to not even attempt because
it
it's too sacred is silly.
yeah. It is also I think that the reason they haven't attempted with that was at least for a long time because of its
Hmm.
ties to Nobuo
Yeah.
Uematsu and
Hmm.
the sort of spiteful way that Square Enix's previous president had treated
Yeah.
Uematsu with. So I think that must have been part of it, at least, why they wouldn't touch Chrono Trigger before. I don't
Yeah.
know if that holds true today.
A lot of old guards, we've talked about it so many times in the show, but a lot of old guards have left or retired or something. I mean, they're around that age, like 60, 70, where they would have worked and slighted Sakaguchi. There's a new, more youthful, more forward-looking group in charge now. And I think
Yeah,
the last straw was the previous president leaving. That was like the
the
signal
last,
for
yeah,
the
signal of
change in.
change.
Right. So sometimes people say like, "Oh, can you believe Square Enix?" And I would say I could now because the leadership's changing.
Hmm.
You've got to factor that in. This leadership has been in place since maybe in like the last like 20 years, like since the early 2000s. So
Yeah,
now it's like a new wave of people who are taking leadership positions in Square Enix. Change doesn't happen overnight. There's company culture, right? So you will see relapses, but for the most part, the things that they're doing right now, I reserve my judgment until I see
yeah,
a little bit more.
definitely.
Yeah.
Like, for a long time, I felt that same way about like kind of Konami and the
Hmm.
Suikoden series.
Yeah.
Um, you know, at this point though, like I don't for a long time I felt like Suikoden is too sacred for Konami to touch again. And now the HD 2D remakes are still in progress, and I'm finding myself with like a little bit of faith. And I'm just I guess they're not HD 2D though, are they?
Yeah.
They're slightly different. Just
So
enhanced.
you're talking about Suikoden 1 and 2?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So I don't
I mean,
know. Are
Eiyuden
they?
Chronicle showed us the possibility is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's like, okay, well, this is this not Suikoden,
Yeah, yeah. Nudge, nudge,
but
wink,
look at how
wink.
pretty it is. Like, you're gonna tell me that you don't want this, right? And I think maybe some people really don't want this, but I think that if we keep having to beat around the bushes all the time, it's just stifling the innovation aspect of things. And
Yeah,
evidently, Eiyuden Chronicles is a beautiful piece of work that a lot of people are enjoying, which we will actually touch on in a little bit during the show because we've
yeah.
got some news for you all on
In
that
just a
front.
moment, in fact,
Yeah, in just a moment.
right after I just point out real quick and shill for the voicemail number, which which you can leave us a call and we'll play it on the air and respond.
Give us a
You can
call.
call us seven eight
Call
five
us.
337 3805. Pick up the
Yeah.
phone. Call now. Operators are standing by. Not really.
Or if you don't want to call because you're an international viewer, you can send us a voicemail, right? You
I
can
was going to
send
say,
us a recording.
or because it's 2024 and nobody
Because it's
uses the phone
2020.
anymore.
Imagine that. Imagine just being able to send us like a recording of yourself, and
Speaking of,
what's the email to that, Mr. Derek?
HitPoint at superderekrpgs.com. But check
Right.
this out. Check this out. I got a new I got I got a new phone.
What is that?
It's a flip phone. Yeah, check it. It's awesome. I got myself a flip phone. I know, way off topic. But speaking of participating in society 20 years ago, I got a flip phone. Mostly to kind of cut me off of my doom scrolling habit. And I've only been at it for maybe about a week and a half now, but it's been really nice.
It's official. Derek's now a drug dealer.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk to me. I remember those days when flip phones were actually like the norm,
Dude.
And then I just love flipping the phone and answering it,
Yeah,
like, I just
it's so
look
nice.
I look like I'm so important. Like, yeah, what's up? I'm here. Yeah, it's me. What's
Dude,
up?
I got the ringtone from Welcome to the NHK, the Purudin song stuck on my phone for the ringtone.
Oh no.
But not like the full like high definition audio, but the bleeps and bloops version that was it's wonderful. It's
The best version.
yeah, it's great. Just take me back to the 2000s, man. It was better then. Life
I've
was
been
better.
reminiscing. I've also been reminiscing the time. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling the age. Like, ooh.
But you know what? That's a bit of a side tangent. Maybe we'll talk about that experiment a little bit later on. Oh, by the way, I did get a Keitai phone the other day. It's being
got
shipped in
what?
from Japan. A Japanese flip phone.
Oh, why?
Cause they're so much cooler than this one. But anyways,
It's true, but
yeah. Yeah. So anyways, let's go ahead and shift gears here for a minute and let's talk about some of this Eiyuden Chronicle news.
okay. You want to go there first before you talk about like what happened with you and all that?
Yeah. Okay, hang on.
Which
Let's
one do you want to do? Like flip
Yeah.
a coin.
here. Let's do what does this work if I go to
Unless
yeah,
we go
discussion
into news,
topic.
We go into news.
Yeah. All right. Good point. So yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about my trip going to NYC. At this point, it's been almost 3 weeks, a bit over 3 weeks at this point. And dude, I've been wanting to talk about this ever since I went on that trip. There just hasn't been a good opportunity because it's been under NDA, and then we skipped last week, and then just time gets away. But I wanted to talk about my trip. I don't get to tell anybody about this, dude. So like at the beginning of August, I get reached out to by a representative for Atlas, and they're like, "Would you like to come to New York City, all expenses paid, to play or Metaphor ReFantazio a little bit early, and you're under no obligation to make a video, but if you are so inclined, you may do so after a certain embargo date." I'm like, excuse me? A baking powder? Yes, please. Like, let's go. Yeah,
How
dude.
could I refuse?
I mean, oh man. So, and here's the thing: I hate travel. I honestly, I'm a homebody. I hate leaving the house for extended periods of time. Like, a couple of days is like, I really I want to be back in my cave. Look at this. How can I leave this? This is cool. This is my lifeblood. Yeah, but anyways, so I'm like, yeah, let's do it. They're like, okay, well, you can record some gameplay. You might need to bring your own capture card. You might need to bring a camera. So I did. And I don't have a capture card that I can just bring with me. So I order a nice Elgato 4KX, just to get some nice 4K footage of it. Get my laptop and my bag all put together. I order special equipment. I got like this really cool camera harness that I think looks like It's like leather and it looks like a pauldron and like it looks like something a fantasy art character would wear. It's so cool.
Mm.
I was like, dude, this is perfect. The stars are aligning. So anyways, long story short, I go into like this rabbit hole of just like getting prepped to go on this trip for like 2 weeks. I almost stopped doing anything else except just being like so hyper focused on this date. And then the day of it comes, I'm gonna be flying out like 6 in the morning. I get there, I get checked in, and the plane is delayed by 3 hours. But luckily, my connection in Chicago was also delayed by an additional 3 hours. So when I actually land in New York City, I'm supposed to get there at 1 a.m. I was like, all right, get there at 1 a.m. I'm gonna, eat a slice of New York pie. It's gonna be great. Gonna see if I can meet up with anybody who's in the area. And I get there, and it's actually by the time the plane lands, it is 7 o'clock
Oh,
in the
PM or
evening.
AM?
PM because of
Oh,
all of the
wow.
delays. I have no patience left in me after like because I it was like 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. just a
Hmm.
whole day of just waiting and
Wow.
and being in like really uncomfortable airplanes. Both of them had random technical difficulties. Like one of them
Ooh,
didn't have an air conditioner. the other
but
the
you
other
survived.
didn't have USB power. Anyways, I don't want to complain about this trip, but then that first day was rough. So I just when I get there, I checked in to the hotel about an hour later after my taxi dropped me off. I check in right behind Dreamcast guy, which is quite a surprise. We've met a time or two. He's another YouTuber. He does more general stuff, but
Hmm.
he's much larger channel than me. But we've met a time or two before. But he checks in, and then I check in behind him, and then I'm like, oh wow, if he's like the first person I bump into, there must be like all kinds of YouTubers here that I don't know about, right? So that kind of like that was my first getting in there. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be awesome, and I was gonna just go get room service or something because I was tired, but they didn't have room service, so I went up to the
Oh
bar.
no.
So I went up to the bar. No, it's fine. It worked out in the end because I went up to the bar on the floor of the top floor. They had like a big open balcony, uh, and there was like this whole big group of people there that I didn't recognize. But eventually, after having a drink or two and some steak and some fries from the bar, it was really nice. I got to actually meet up with a couple of people from South America, actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, who were press. So I get there
Hmm.
on Tuesday, and I find out that Tuesday is the day that the press were all allowed to get in and actually check out the game before everybody on like the I hate the word influencer, but that's what they
Hmm.
grouped me in with. So I guess I can't be like, I'm not an influencer.
Oh, you are now. You're influencing
Apparently,
people right now.
it's not. I, I, I started my YouTube channel a long time ago because I was like, I want to be a game press. No, that's
Do you
apparently
feel do
not.
you feel like validated now? Is that it? Like, as at least
No,
somewhat.
I hate the word influencer.
Hmm.
Because I don't feel like I influence people. I'm just here talking about stuff that I like, and some people also like it. If you're watching this, you already probably liked RPGs. It's not because I convinced you to, but anyways, uh, but I can't complain now that
Hmm.
that's what got me to NYC. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll roll with it.
You know, Atlas is watching this right now. He's like, oh, he's not even influencing.
Right?
He's not even. Yeah, oh, get out. Oh, we've been lied to.
They've been flim flammed. Oh yeah. Meanwhile,
By the way, not to interrupt your story,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
we are. I don't know if our mic volume or something is like low or something. Sounds like you're talking through a phone, and
Hmm.
like I don't know. Yeah. So yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. Like
So I'm
I'm
like,
talking
you're
through a
telling a
phone?
really good story. So I want to just take it. Okay. So is it fine for people? I want to, because that was a really good story. And I know would hate it if, people missed it because a bit lower. That's fine. Okay. A bit quiet.
Hmm.
Okay, that's fine. It's not the end of the world.
Okay.
I wasn't telling my story, so
Okay.
as long as you guys heard Derek first, like let's make sure that's good. Voices
Okay.
are perfect. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
So maybe
Well,
I'm just a little low. No big deal. Um,
weird. Okay.
okay.
Well, because I'm here. Okay. Here. When it comes time and I'm done talking, I'll
Both are
I'll
perfectly
work on your mic.
fine. Sounds fine. Not
Okay.
quiet. Just maybe too much bass. Too
Maybe
much bass.
too much bass. Oh dear.
Who, me? Too much
No,
bass.
probably me. I don't know. Okay, so anyways,
Okay.
I'll continue on. So I met a couple of people
Yeah,
from
yeah. Go for it.
Argentina and from Mexico. So I got
Hmm.
to meet a couple of guys who did a lot of like RPG reporting. One was for MediStation,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
I can't remember the other, but they were really nice, and I got to meet them and hang out. Apparently, that was the day Scott from RPG Fan was going to be there, uh,
Hmm.
but he
And then he didn't show
well,
up.
he did, but he didn't have to stay at the hotel because he lives in the area, so he missed out
Right.
on the after party, I guess.
Oh, tell to his face. You missed on the party, Scott.
Ah, man. Well, I think I did mention that to him, but he's okay with that because I think
Yeah.
it was his situation was weird and like very last minute.
Hmm.
Um, so anyway,
Scott's like, whatever. I'm invited to these parties every week. It's fine.
okay,
You
so
guys don't know this. I mean, words on the street is that Scott parties like this every week.
oh
So
yeah,
yeah,
huge party guy.
huge party guy.
I don't know
He
anything
doesn't
about
miss
Scott.
this at all. He's not here to defend himself.
So I finally, after a few drinks, I'm able to relax. I go up to bed. Cannot sleep worth a damn because I'm afraid that I'm gonna wake up and like sleep through the event because it's in the morning and
Hmm.
I'm in like an earlier time zone. So, oh, by the way, meanwhile my phone is dying because there was no USB power on the plane, and like for whatever reason, this was my old phone. For whatever reason, like it just has this really terrible like USB-C connection. So like every time I
Hmm.
plug it in, like there's like a 30% chance that it just will randomly not charge for some reason.
Ooh.
Luckily, I woke up at like 4 a.m. because I couldn't be comfortable, and I checked my phone and it was completely dead. So I was able to reconnect it.
Ooh.
I know, because that was my alarm clock. But I woke up
You
at 4 a.m.
almost.
I know. Part of I think time traveler Derek from the future like woke up and he's like he came back in time to wake me up to make sure that I like fixed my phone. Something like that. It was anyways, it's a close call. But anyways, the next day I find out that when we're all gathering up, it was me as far as YouTubers
Hmm.
go, Dreamcast
Hmm.
guy and Lady Pelvic. Those were the three that I actually knew. They knew a
Hmm.
few other people, but I didn't.
Did you pass out like business card and stuff? Did you go around?
I
No,
was
you didn't.
going to. I wanted. Oh man, hang on. I got some so cool business cards.
And you didn't. Okay, no,
Okay.
I need to hear about this.
See, I got some really awesome business cards that I wanted to pass out to people,
Hmm.
especially to So, oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's got some like edge thickness
Discuss
to it.
them. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, I wanted to hand these out to
But
especially to Japanese developers when I met them. Well,
yes.
but because I was told that I'd have an opportunity to like have a Q&A with like the developers. And it's like, oh, cool. Can I film that? And they're like, yeah, if you do, you just need to bring a camera to do it. Anyways, so those were the two YouTubers, including myself, that I knew of. They knew of a
Hmm.
few others, and I got to meet a few. Oh wait, when we got there, I recognized David Cast,
Okay.
who does a lot of like Atlas Persona content on his channel, a lot of news, and I did eventually recognize more people, but it was mostly Lady Pelvic, Dreamcast, and I that just ended up hanging out a lot throughout the rest of the rest of that day, essentially. But we got to go there and actually get hands on with Metaphor, ReFantazio. They had like a little. It happened at the Angel Orensen's Foundation, which is like this it's almost like a small cathedral.
Hmm.
It's got very like what's the word, Gothic architecture. So you walk
Hmm.
in and it has this like big stained glass windows, this like stage in front. It's almost like being in like a little church because they had like rows of chairs and stuff, and they could be, doing a presentation up front. But they did so much cool stuff with like lighting up top, and they had these pictures along the walls of
Mm,
all of like the concept art, like framed images of concept art that just
that's
fit
cool.
in beautifully, like this really Renaissance style of like painting. They just went crazy with it.
Hmm.
I tried to film some of it. it it ta- it when I film things, I have my camera on a tripod in front of
Hmm.
me, and I
Hmm.
don't have to. I set it and I forget it. I sit in front of it, I'm good. But then when you make me hold the camera, it's like suddenly found footage of like, oh my god, what? It's like just shaky cam everywhere, unusable.
Oh no, you needed a gimbal.
I Yeah, yeah. I needed a gimbal and also probably some skill.
It's
That
because you're
was
not a
it
vlogger.
was
You
it
need to
was
be a
it was
vlogger.
definitely a skill issue. We'll say
Yeah,
that. Um,
travel vlogger.
so
Need some vlog gears.
they showed us a brand new trailer for ReFantazio, and then
Ooh.
they talked to us for about 10-15 minutes, and then they're like,
Mhm.
okay, you have 3 hours to get your capture card set up, get your computer recording, and to play through as much of the game as you can. Go. And they
Ready, go.
it was
Please.
basically like that. Like everybody like ran. Everybody just like broke out and ran to like different, like they had little big armchairs. You could probably see it in my video talking about ReFantazio.
Hmm.
Big old like comfy armchair. But yeah, I had to hook up my capture card. I had my computer set aside. I was on an Xbox Series X, I think. I'm not an
Hmm.
Xbox person, so I'm like fumbling with the controller to figure out like how does it work. It's just like this is foreign to me. Why is it on Xbox? Probably because Xbox is helping foot some of
Right.
the development of ReFantazio, if I had to
Hmm.
guess. But dude, for that 2.5 hours that excluding the setup time and such,
Hmm.
that 2.5 hours that I got to play was instantly just so promising, very
Hmm.
very promising. Of like when it feels like you can see the art very much Persona like,
Hmm.
because it's by the same character designer, uh,
Hmm.
but the feel of the game is much darker. It reminds me a lot of like Berserk, uh, but in like an RPG form with and without the giant swords, and maybe some things like Persona ish,
Hmm.
but it's very dark. Like as far as like dark fantasy goes, like the backstage or the set is basically dressed with wanton violence. Like
Hmm.
it kicks off with like the opening cutscene, and this isn't a spoiler. It's the opening cutscene is a king who is basically on his deathbed, unable to
Hmm.
really move or do anything. He's effectively a disabled person who gets brutally stabbed through the gut on camera, bleeds out, and dies. Like and that's just part of it. But then, like the next scene, you're like walking into a town, and then you see a guy get lynched because of a racist mob, and you're like, what the? Like that happened, and then like a
That
scene,
happened.
a scene,
That's a
yeah,
thing.
and then a scene like a little later on, like you're attacked by bandits, and then like they all get eviscerated as well. Like it's like there's so much like wanton killing as like a backdrop just to the story. Like Persona has some like, yeah, some, there's abuse, there's death, there's themes of loss and stuff. Okay, cool. This is just like everybody dies all the time.
Nice,
so
nice.
like so like it's not like, I don't know. Whereas I would say that like Persona is teen friendly ish. Like if like a 14-year-old wanted to play Persona, I'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, you could probably handle it. Um,
Friendly-ish.
this one, This one though, I would say is like probably 17 plus. Like,
Okay.
yeah, it's probably, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So
Wow. Well, I'm glad you had a fantastic time. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
flew
After it,
out, had some per diem. You can
mhm,
have your
little
New York
bit,
slice.
little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't go as far when you're in NYC though. I'll tell you that much. But we did end
Yeah.
up, Dreamcast guy, Lady Pelvic, and I. We ended up getting a very mid slice of New York pizza because
Should have
it.
asked Scott where to get it, man. Like, why didn't y'all consult with Scott?
I mean, I've had good New York pizza before, but the
Mm-hmm.
problem was like Dreamcast guy, he had already eaten at a place the night prior. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it was all right, it was a $3 slice of pizza,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, if you thought it was all right, so we went there, and it was like,
Mediocre.
no, no, not mediocre. It was
Or
like,
not even mediocre.
yeah, no, because it wasn't even really thin crust pizza. It was like is also barely done. It's pizza by the slice from a
Mm.
bodega, but it was like not. I
Oh,
don't know.
why would you go to a bodega for pizza?
I mean, I don't
You
know,
go to
man.
bodega for chopped cheeses.
See, that's what I was. See, but I was tagging along with Dreamcast guy at that point, along with Lady Pelvic. But then after
Curse
that, we
you, Dreamcast guy.
curses.
Stick to Dreamcast.
But we
Don't
did.
recommend food. I'm kidding.
But we did go get blue ribbon sushi though, which
Oh, okay.
was really good.
Okay.
So yeah. So in the end, it was a lot of fun. But
Okay. Yeah,
but man,
blame
the travel
Dreamcast
sucks.
guy.
Yeah.
Everyone blame the Dreamcast guy.
I should have got a bagel while I was there, but I didn't.
You're not missing anything. I'm sorry. Like any New Yorkers in this chat right now, I'm sorry. Bagel, it's whatever. Okay, it's not that. It's not that great. It's fine. It's fine.
No,
there are
they're.
better things in New York.
I mean,
It's
sure,
fine.
sure, but I
Yeah,
mean,
they're so proud of it.
but
I'm like, it's
real New York City
fine.
pizza. If you're ever in the opportunity to like go down to like Harlem to Patsy's, dude, that
Mhm.
place, that was like that was like a core memory of mine. When I was in NYC before on a
Mhm.
much different work trip.
Yeah, it's like go to Brooklyn and get some good eats in Brooklyn.
I've heard
There's
that before.
a lot of good eats in Brooklyn.
But yeah, we also
Um.
kind of didn't leave that little square because
Oh,
Ubering
true.
anywhere was crazy expensive.
Expensive. Oh, I would know.
Yeah.
I would know. I can. Well, when you're doing your story, I'll tell you what happened with me in New York because I also
Go
went
for
to
it.
New York.
Go for it because that was pretty much the end of the interesting parts of the story.
So when did you go to New York? Let's paint a timeline for people. When did you go to New
Let me
York?
look at a calendar. It was on Tuesday.
The 13th or something? Or 20th?
Yeah, the 13 and 14, and I was
13,
returning home
14,
on the
14.
15. Yeah.
Okay, so Derek went to New York on the 13th. He didn't tell me what it was about, but he did tell me he was going to New York, and I was like, "Oh, you're going to New York? I'm also going to New York," because obviously we talk about our schedules so that we can see if we can do like hit point and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was going to New York on the weekend on 24th, 25th. So basically last weekend, I was
Oh,
in
on
New
my
York.
on our my birthday.
Yeah, on your birthday.
I was gonna say our birthday. No, you're a little bit of like a month ahead of me,
Just a little bit.
old
I
man.
mean, you should have just gone to New York again for your birthday.
I should
Come
have.
back and this time actually travel around. I
Well,
went to New York
I'll do it on your
for
dime.
on my dime.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, if we can,
For
if
my
we can get to
birthday.
a point, if we can get a hit point to a point where we can afford trips, we should just pay
Oh.
you to fly out to New York.
Hey, everybody, be sure to like, comment, and
Hey.
subscribe.
By the way, all the super chats, yeah, we'll get to those towards the end of the show. If you have got burning questions that you just have to get an answer from us, please put it in the super chat. We'll get to it towards the end. And there has already been like one or two super chats, so we'll get to those later. So I went to New York. I went to Anime NYC, which happened last weekend, and I had turned my gain up. People still can't hear me
Oh,
apparently.
yeah, here, I'll fix it. I'll work on that.
Yeah, so I went to Anime NYC. It's like my fourth year going to Anime NYC. I think I really messed myself up by being barely I barely made it to the bus
Hmm.
because I didn't get flown out to New York like fancy schmancy Mr. Derek there to pay for my own bus ticket, and I also live significantly closer to New York
I would,
compared to Derek. Yeah,
honestly, I would prefer to take a
the
bus.
bus
Yeah.
because you don't have to do the whole like check-in and stuff, right?
Yeah. TSA ruins flight.
Yeah, TSA ruins everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I was thankful that the bus waited for me because I was like a minute late, and I had to do this like walk of shame up the bus and through the alley, and everyone's just like, "Oh, you're the a-hole that kept us waiting for exactly 60 seconds longer." Ah, for shame. And I had to sit next to the bathroom because that's what happens when you're the last person on the bus. There's this like
Hmm.
a on the bus toilet, right, bathroom situation, and just it's just like every couple of seconds you will be able to smell like the septic tank. You can't smell anything else, but you do smell that like slight porta potty kind of like
The
smell just
chemically.
comes through the door every now and then. Every now and then,
Hmm.
just when you're about to fall asleep, you get that whiff, and you're just like, "Oh, what is that?" Anyways, it was a terrible way to start the morning. But also, yeah, but I got there just fine, and I had 3 nights of concerts that I was going to, and
Yeah.
for whatever reason, I thought I can survive 3 nights of concerts.
Oh,
I couldn't.
oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. So the concerts that I'm used to going to more recent years were all like, symphonic
Yeah.
concerts like Distant World or like the Near Automata
Hmm.
concert or like Studio Ghibli, like Joe Hisaishi concert. And it's all like orchestra, right? So you sit down,
Yeah.
you stand up, you clap,
A
you give your standing
pleasant,
ovation, you sit back
relaxing
down.
sort of
Yes, for
environment.
relaxing.
Hmm.
It's emotional. Not so with these concerts. So I was going to the Hall of Life concerts, and these are like pop concerts. You
Okay.
and Japanese style. So you don't sit down. You stand up almost the entire time. My legs were killing me from walking around the convention in New York. All right, then I've spent another 2 hours in the concert, like waving my pen like a madman, doing all the chants and calls and responses, and my throat is shot. And it was like a bad experience.
Tell
And
me,
then
did you use them like poi, like swinging around and stuff like nunchucks, or was it just
no,
like
no, no, because
okay,
I mean, you just hit people right next to you if you did that.
okay,
I mean that's like the Wolfgate thing where like people do like very like outlandish move, but like people don't typically do that like in the concert like seat
okay,
area,
good,
like they do it in like the more open area. But there
okay.
wasn't any for this convention, anyhow. But yeah, just it was all right. But man, so that was Friday night. Saturday night, I went out drinking, and then Sunday morning, I almost missed the panel because I thought it was 1:45, but it turned out to be 12:45.
Oh
So I
snap!
saw that message at 12:35, and I just like ran over to the convention again. Yeah, more running, and my like leg basically gave out at some point, and I was just like speed limping to and that's when I realized I'm too old for this. And at that point, there was still one more night of concert to go. So you were talking about like Ubering. Yeah, I was Ubering back and forth from Manhattan to Brooklyn because that's where the
Oh,
concert was being held.
oh,
And it
oh.
was like $90 one way.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous how I mean.
yeah,
I even looked into cabs as an alternative, but they were all basically price fixed to the same
Well, and I'm
amount.
splitting the Uber with a couple of friends, so it's like $20 one way. I mean, it's still a little steep, but at least I got there like in good time, and I didn't have to like rush myself. I didn't ride the metro, like because riding the metro would have taken like an hour, and who knows if you make it on time. Like
Yeah.
it's just, I'm on vacation. My time is valuable, so that's how I kind of how I justified it.
Yeah. And also like not having to pay for parking, it pays for itself, you
Oh
know.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So that was my weekend, and then after that, I caught some kind of flu. So I had the post-con depression that kicked in. This YouTuber that I really liked basically retired, so I was really sad, and then I got sick. So like
Ugh.
my biorhythm was just like down to like a pretty low point, and like Wednesday or so of this past week. And then something great happened, and that's Vision of Mana came out. So then that
Oh.
was good, right? And
So
then I
have you
was
got a
trying to
chance to
day
play it?
one that. Yeah, and then I have a long weekend, so now my biorhythm is like back up again because
Oh,
I'm like recovering from my flu. I'm playing Vision Mana. We'll talk about that. And also I have a long weekend. Actually, most of us have a long weekend. So hey, congratulations to anyone
yeah.
who has a Labor Day on Monday and they don't have to go into work.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, so I'm back. I'm back, man. I'm back. I'm feeling good again. I was not good. Oh, and my new semester just started. So yeah, so flu, post-con depression, someone that I really like retired. I was sick, and I started school.
Sounds like a
It's just
big
like
week.
everything's just like weighing me down. It's like, yeah. Wednesday was terrible. The day that you were doing the
Oh,
metaphor thing
yeah,
with
with Scott.
Scott, that was
Hmm.
like the worst day. I was just in bed, rolled up, like I was in class, but I just turned on the thing and I'm just like listening and dying and coughing and sneezing, all rolled up. It was like not a good experience.
Yeah, you
But
did tell me about that. That's right. You
yeah.
did tell me about that.
So yeah, so that's what happened to us. We had a very different experience from New York.
Similar, but different in other ways.
Well, I'm
Equally
glad you didn't
uplifting and
get
soul
sick.
crushing.
That's the most important thing is you didn't get sick from it.
I don't even know how. I mean, I guess I tried really hard not to be around too many people, but I mean,
I'm still
whatever.
coughing. Like that's how you know.
Dude, oh God, in one of the weeks leading up to my trip out to NYC, I actually got a pretty bad head cold and I was like all
Oh
congested and stuff.
no.
I and it was after I had accepted the invitation out, but then it
Mhm.
was before the actual trip, and I was like, I have to like speed run this cold. I need to get it done. I cannot have sinus issues on the plane
Oh
because never
no.
again. It
Mhm.
cleared up, so it turned out to be not a bunch of whole lot of nothing. So, all right, guys, I
All
think
right.
I think it's time for us to finally start talking about some of the news that we've been teasing all throughout. Oh my God, has it been 45 minutes? Okay, yeah. Okay, without any further ado,
We had to catch up, we
uh,
have to catch up with our audience. They have to hear every bits of our personal lives.
all right,
We're
game
influencers.
delays. Let's kick it off here with this Eiyuden Chronicle news, because unfortunately the Marissa DLC has been delayed beyond August of 2024.
Mhm.
I mean, it's now September and it's not out, so you
Yeah.
probably might have figured that out for yourself. But they did say in a backer newsletter regarding the topic, they said that they would like to inform everyone regarding the distribution of upcoming DLC due to the time needed to issue digital codes and send them out to backers free of charge. So the Marissa DLC will be delayed beyond August. We appreciate your patience and will announce a new release date soon. The three additional DLC scenarios planned for the game, Marisa, Sane, and Marcus, will be the last scenarios written by Murayama himself. They hope that
Yeah.
everyone will be able to play these scenarios as soon as possible. They ask for everyone's patience as they arrange for backers to receive their codes for free of charge prior to the DLC's general release. Please stay tuned to the official Kickstarter updates and Eiyuden Chronicle official channel social media stuffs. And As with the beta and early access versions, delivery will be made through the Eiyuden hub in the Yeti stores.
Yeah.
So,
So, a couple of things I think to note from that whole thing is, of course, number one, the delay itself. There are 3 planned DLC, but I thought it was interesting that they had written that, hey, these 3 additional DLC planned for the game will be the last scenarios written by Murayama himself. And I'm
mhm.
like, so do you mean there are new scenarios in the pipeline that aren't written by
it
Murayama? Is that
it
why you have
does
to like specify that?
it
Like,
does seem to imply that.
hmm, yes. But they've only I think they've only talked about these 3, so I'm very curious as to what they are planning to do. And I think the other thing that the 2 other thing that I think we will need to remember is if you are a backer, you will be getting these DLCs for free. So don't like go and like buy additional ones. Although if you want to, hey, find more ways to support the developers. We're not going to stop you. But just remember, if you're a backer, you're getting these DLCs for free. And keep up the Yeti store updated
Mhm.
because
I
that's the distribution for the codes.
There may be an alternate interpretation for that note about these being the last.
The Mudayama
It
thing.
could, yeah,
Hmm.
for Murayama. It may be that what they may mean to say is that these are the last scenarios that were written by Murayama before his passing. Like maybe that's what they're meaning to say, is these are the last of his works. Not just because they're the last of Eiyuden Chronicles works, but
Hmm.
that's just these are the last things that he did
That
before
that is
passing.
as a matter of fact kind of deal.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the quirk of translation because I'm gonna guess the newsletter was originally written in Japanese and then translated. So yeah,
probably.
there's a very good chance that it would have made a little bit more sense and the nuance is a little different in Moon Rune, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. All right. Well, next up, we've got some update to past releases. And the
indeed.
past release in question now is regarding to Sea of Stars. So, Sabotage Studio just gave us more concrete information regarding their newest DLC for Sea of Stars called, I think it's called Thrones. Is
Throes.
it yeah, Thrones of
No, no, no.
the
Throws.
Watchmaker.
It's
Froze.
yeah.
Froze.
Yes.
Froze of the Watchmaker. I was like, I remember looking that up earlier. Like, how do I pronounce this?
Yeah.
Anyways,
It's like
Froze of the
throws
Watchmaker.
throws as in like thrashing about. I think.
A thrashing about.
Hmm.
So the Watchmaker is thrashing about.
I don't know what
We'll
does
see what
throws mean.
happens.
Yeah, let me answer.
Anyways, the DLC will feature a brand new story that takes place inside a miniature clockwork world. There will be new playable classes for the main characters, a new playable character named Artie, and the local 3 players co-op mode that they had teased about previously.
Hmm.
They said they're gonna get it to work. They said they're trying to get the local 3 players co-op to work. I thought for some time I thought it was gonna be like a standalone thing. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna just give the game like local co-op, right?
Yeah,
And then they're like, no, actually, we're gonna bundle that in with this whole DLC thing that will give you more information about. And the more I learn about the DLC, it seems like it's a more expansive thing. Why don't we take a look at the trailer?
dude, the
That'll give
trailer
us an
looks.
idea what this is.
Yeah, the trailer looks sick.
Yeah.
Here, let's pull this up. Here it is. But yeah, I'm really stoked to figure out more about like the newly introduced classes for Zale and Valere.
Hmm.
Like Zale is going to be like a juggler or something.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, there's going to be like evil clones. Oh, it looks so cool.
It looks really good.
I mean, Sea of Stars always looks really good, dude. That's the thing. Like, it's such a beautiful game. Like,
Some
holy,
kind of like circus thing.
Yeah. So it seems like
Feral Queen.
it takes place within some sort of clockwork world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a clockwork
Like a nightmare
circus or
circus.
something. Yeah.
The puppeteer.
And she looks like an evil clone of the Watchmaker from the game, if you've ever
Look, it's
played.
Artie.
Yeah, that's Artie
So
the
isn't
Artificer.
Is that like Robo? Is
Yeah.
that what?
Yeah, he's Robo.
Oh?
He's Frog Robo.
Oh.
I know.
I'm down with Artie already.
I know. He looks like such a cool robot. Was that a train?
Are we gonna suplex the train? Is that it?
We've got it.
Are we?
I hope so.
tell us we can suplex the train.
I like how that's the first thing that came to both of our minds. It's like we've been training all our lives for this suplex.
For the suplex, yeah. Oh, that's what that new class, is gonna allow him to do. Is
You
suplex the
don't
train.
know. Maybe. I forgot what the class was that Valère was going to unlock in this new area, but it's going to essentially ensure that they play very differently. And I wonder if that's going to address one of the criticisms that a lot of people had for the base game. Is like, they're such, I don't know. A lot of people say that the characters Zale and Valère were too bland. Yeah.
Generic?
Yeah. And I wonder if this is going to fix that.
Okay.
I'm curious. We'll
I
see.
look forward to it. I want to see if like the new class is only playable in the expansion, or like is it going to be like, oh, here you can use these classes through the main game, but also in the expansion.
That's the other big question.
Curious.
I hope so. That would be really neat.
That would be neat.
I think. Gosh, does this take place after the base game, or does it say?
I don't know. Maybe they have said it somewhere, but I haven't read it, so I haven't seen it. So,
Well-
hey, if anyone knows, let us know about it.
Anyways, what's really cool is that this DLC is free.
I know.
Like that's a lot of work.
That's the kicker.
You can see that there was a lot of work put into this, and they're just like, yeah, you can have it.
That's the kicker. Like for anyone who's like, not happy about having to pay for DLCs, well, if you're gonna complain about paying for free, then something's wrong, man.
Yeah.
Something's up.
I mean, it would have
it's
been cool if
free.
it could have been on the cartridge, but nothing is.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. But it's like coming in spring 2025. So like 6 months. That's not a long wait. I think that's very reasonable.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, props to Sabotage Studio for giving us this like free expansion to the game. It's truly an expansion. It's not even just like a little update. It's this whole new story, whole new character, whole new classes. It's crazy. So pretty awesome.
So let's shift a little bit of gears here again and start talking about, well, not necessarily upcoming releases for this week, because we did miss an episode last week. So let's go ahead and
two episodes.
So we're going to talk a little bit about Elrentaros Wanderings, which actually came out on the 16th of the month. I put out a video talking about my time with the game. I actually got an advanced copy of the game, but something kind of got in the way of putting it out, around the launch of it. So I ended up putting out the video a little bit later.
Terrible, Derek, terrible.
I was in New York, okay? Come on, give me some slack. But
okay,
that didn't stop me from putting out a video eventually. I think I have in total about 25 hours into the game so far. I'm forcing myself to pry away from it though, because here's the thing. It is a really fun game to play. I enjoy playing it, but I don't care about any of the characters or what's going on in the world. It is the weirdest thing. Like I've never played an RPG before where I'm like, yep, less talk, more fighty. Like I've never been like that. I've never been that guy. But I think that there's something about the kind of so it originally was called Rear Sekai in Japan, and that is kind of indicative of what it's about. It's kind of like a reverse inverse isekai. I think where this character who lives in a fantasy world gets kind of drawn into like I don't know, like a modern Japanese school setting every once in a
Hmm.
while where there's some like visual novel stuff that takes place, and then if you mash A long enough you'll end up back in the meat of the game where you can play like in this fun like it's a neat little gameplay loop of go into a dungeon, kill a bunch of stuff, try to basically complete side missions by not taking any damage of this type in this run from this kind of character or something like that. And as you do that, you can unlock additional like weapons and items and characters that you can like interact with. It's neat, but I just don't care about any of the characters. So that's why in my video I'm
Hmm.
like, this game would suck if it wasn't so dang fun to actually play. Like,
Oh wow.
I know
Okay.
that was the title. It was like Elrentaros Wanderings would suck if it wasn't so fun, because it's also a very budget title. Like the art, you can
Hmm.
tell, like every single character in the game has two PNG files to them. There's the PNG that shows up when they're talking and they're in a static pose regardless of whatever's going on, and then they have the PNG file that's like this big that shows up on the map when you like run your character up and talk to them. Like that,
Hmm.
the visual novel side of things, lame, but the actual like loop of going through the dungeons, finding new weapons, building up your character, and like there's no experience point system in it.
Hmm.
It's entirely just based off of like your equipment. So like if you needed to do a low level run of a different dungeon or something, you would just equip worse equipment, and then you're suddenly level 16 because you have a level 16 sword and armor.
Hmm.
It's weird. I don't I I like it. It's fun. Oh yeah, and all the
Okay.
abilities, like you get a ton of special abilities. There's no MP, but they're all on cooldown timers and they're all mapped to different face buttons. Like
Hmm.
it's fun. I don't know why I like it so much though. It doesn't make sense, but it's fun. But for $40, what I don't think I would have recommended for 40. But if you can
Hmm.
spot it like cheap or get a digital copy for like $15 sometime down the road, it would totally scratch like that kind of cat quest itch for a lot of y'all out there, I think.
Hmm.
In my review though, I think there were some comments that were saying that there's a better version of that game made by somebody else. I just can't remember what it's called, but
Hmm.
yeah, go check out the video if that sounds interesting to you. Like as just it's literally like the kind of game that you can just play in the middle of doing something else. I could play it like as a palate cleanser after I finally eventually finish Lufia 2 in 3 years. I could do that, and like I don't need to worry about like what happened in 2 3 days ago, right, when I'm playing it, because it doesn't matter. I don't care about the characters.
Lufia too. I
I
mean,
know I'm still playing through. I'm gonna stream more of it soon. I don't know why. It's just everything keeps getting in the way. Okay.
mm,
Anyways.
mm. All right. Yeah. So on that, and we're just gonna go through this like fairly quickly, right? So
Oh,
on the same.
were we gonna be doing this quickly? I'm sorry. I
I mean, no, 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 no. I mean, that was not a diss to Derek. I mean, like, we're not gonna go into all the games as we typically do for upcoming releases and just give you like refresher and whatnot. But I did want to mention like, this indie Castaway game is coming out, or it came out on the same day as what is it, Erentaros Wandering, which is like August 16th. So just a reminder for anyone who is like trying to remember about Castaway. That came out. It's kind of like a
yes.
Zelda-ish kind of adventure game. Yeah.
Oh man, I need
There's
to
so
ask for a
yeah, see,
review
this is
code.
this is the thing that keeps blocking you from Lufia 2. Like there's so many games.
I know.
So many games.
I'm
Now,
gonna reach out to them and
huh?
see if I can get a review code because I wanna take a look.
Or if the Castaway dev, if you're watching right now, you know. Anyways, so as Derek's doing that, I want to talk a little bit about Visions of Mana, because I have to. I'm obligated to do it because
Yeah.
I am a huge fan of the Mana series. Even though someone came to, I actually streamed it last night for the first time, and someone's like, "Are you a big fan of like the Mana series?" And I'm like. Ooh,
Nah.
yeah, it's
A
it's
little
a hard. We have a hard history,
a little
Square
bit.
Enix and I, we have a very long and difficult relationship. We have gone through like couple therapy a couple of times already. Mana is one of the the things that we argue over.
Children of Mana is a fine game, Baku.
Anyways, yeah, but I've kind of waited 20 years to talk about Visions of Mana in some sense because Dawn of Mana was the thing, and that was back in 2006, and it was not good, in my humble opinion, and the opinion of many others, because like the score was like horrendous. But Visions of Mana is sort of like the comeback, it's the comeback kid. And why don't we take a look at the trailer and then we can just quickly. And this is the only trailer we're gonna look at for upcoming releases, I promise.
All right, yeah, let's check it out.
We have a lot of new game announcements to go through too after this, guys. Okay, lots of new game announcements after this. But I saw chat talking a little bit about Vision of Mana, so we'll talk about it too. It's got some crazy performance issues that randomly spikes in. It's got like 2 modes on PS5, just like performance or quality.
Did you experience that on PS5?
I experienced it on PS5. We were having some like the animated clips things like just drops down to 30, and it was very jarring.
Oh, okay, yeah,
yeah.
But
it's just like a sudden drop.
I was gonna say, what about in gameplay? Did you experience it where like you would just like hit like 12 frames per second like on the field, or was that like a?
So I haven't seen crazy drops in battles, although yeah, I haven't seen crazy drops in battles. It's mostly just like whenever they switch to like animation, it just drops to like 30 for some unknown reason. I'm like, why?
Okay.
The game plays at 60. Just leave it. Like, I don't understand.
I wonder if it's like a pre-rendered scene.
I was reading online, and people were basically saying like that there's really no reason why they had to lock it to 30. Like, they could have just left it at 60. Like, they put a lock on it, so it's not like it was probably originally at 60, and they just like put a lock on it for some strange reason. You can unlock it on the PC version.
Oh, can you?
So yeah.
Well, that's weird.
It's just bizarre. Yeah, it's just like, why did you decide to do this? Like, it made the game feel a lot less polished. Because like if you're talking about playing on a PS5, for example, right? Like, never mind the PC version, you play on PS5, the hardware is set. You know exactly what hardware everyone is dealing with. So there's no reason why they had to do that especially on PS5. On the PC version, apparently you could just like turn off the lock like every time you go into video. I mean, it's a hassle, but you could do it, and it's just like, why did you even? It didn't make any sense.
Why was that part of the code in the first place?
Yeah. But that's my only gripe so far. I think the game is very pretty. I've read articles with people saying like, oh, but it's not breaking any like it's not breaking any barriers. It's not doing anything overly unique or anything overly new, and I don't think that's the point of the game.
No.
Visions of Mana is a reboot. Visions of Mana is collecting all the different bits and pieces of the Mana games in the past and putting it together and being like, okay, let's redefine what a Mana game is and what a Mana game should be moving forward. Like, in all intents and in intents and purposes, it's a reboot. It's the platform. So if people are looking for like, oh well, it's not breaking any grounds. Well, it's not meant to break any grounds. Even the title, it's kind of like a retro look to it. Like, there's a reason for that. I think that's like by design. So
kind of a return to the roots
is,
in order to see where you can expand to from there.
Right.
Creatively, I think
like,
that makes a lot of sense.
It's got elements. Yeah, I mean, it's got like characters from like Legend of Mana. It's got like characters, or not characters,
like,
but like
races
it's got elements from like Secret of Mana, Trials of Mana. It's got elements from all these different games. You've been like a long time Mana fan. You'll see little nods here and there, and but that's the whole point. Let's bring it all together. Let's have a solid foundation. let's see where we can go from there. And for that, I think it's done a pretty good job. And I'm only played it for one night. I do plan on playing it again after HitPoint whenever we finish. It's a long show today, boys and girls.
Yeah.
So whenever we do finish, I do plan on streaming over at my Twitch. More Visions of Mana because I couldn't stop thinking about it after playing it last night. So here it is.
That's a
I'm
good
abusing executive privilege and going into extensive detail over it. But yeah, we're almost done with the upcoming releases.
All right. Then we actually have a couple of upcoming releases. Well, kind of. So on the 6th...
It's a single collection.
Yeah, it's a single collection, but it's 2 games.
Yeah.
So it is on the 6th here in just a few days. Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth, and Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Prosecutor's Gambit.
Yes, just a reminder for people that that's coming out. I know we've got a lot of like Ace Attorney fans. I never really got into the title, but Capcom is just doing it right. Releasing a lot of these games that otherwise you don't have a way of playing, and then just like throwing them on like modern consoles, throwing them on Steam, and fans are eating it up. Like some of these games are like not even playable previously. It's like Japan exclusive.
Yeah.
So
no objections.
Yeah, no objections. No objections. All good with modernizing and making it accessible for people. All right, now into the meat of things. Ooh, are you guys ready?
My body is ready.
So it's gonna be a long show. Okay, you guys want to get yourself a drink. Maybe a little too late for that even, cause and then this is a series that I really enjoyed in the past. Freebird just announced the beach episode of the To the Moon series, properly named just a To the Moon series beach episode, which is very cheeky. So, it's a very cheeky title. Now, I want to read you guys an interview with PC Gamer, Freebird Games founder, Kan Gao. He had this to say about just a To the Moon series beach episode. The biggest expectation with these kinds of episodes tend to be lightheartedness, break, and a dubious amount of fan service with revealing swimwear and etc. Wink, wink.
Yep, sounds right.
Man's culture, man. He knows what he's doing. With the To the Moon Beach episode, of course, we're hoping for it to be more than just the trope. I've been cheeky with implying that with the name just a To the Moon series beach episode. And so far, the stuff shown had mostly been fun and games, but I think the official trailer that just launched, which we'll watch in just a second, gives folks a more of a genuine vibe of the game, which is more pain. Just kidding. And hey, there's a reunion of all the major characters through the decade. This game series has been around for a decade now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It's like time just flies. The first To the Moon was like a decade ago.
A little more than that. I thought it was like 2010 or something.
Yeah, something like that. So all the major characters through the decade will return, despite many of them have already been dead from previous games. So, that's nice and weird, end quote from the president. Of course, like the founding member of Freebird Games would have this kind of sense of humor. But I think, if we watch the trailer, we can talk a little bit more.
Yeah, let's check it out, because I don't think I had a trailer for the beach episode in time for HitPoint or JRPG Weekly Update. So.
Oh, you didn't? No. This one was
maybe there was.
This one's from a while ago. They didn't have like a new trailer, but yeah.
Maybe there was. Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah. There was.
So so the To the Moon series, there are 3 games to it, plus like a free game if you want to count that, then 4. But like truly, there are 3 games, 3 main titles. It's To the Moon. It's
Imposter Syndrome.
Imposter Syndrome is the last one. It's To the Moon, and then there's like one in the middle that I cannot name right now. But anyways, it consists of 3 games in a trilogy, and this is supposed to be the beach episode of like the whole series. I think it's pretty interesting. They're sort of like trying to tie it all together and give it like a celebration that it deserves. It is a very emotionally charged series. I will say that it will do things to your heart. It may make you cry potentially, as it has done to many people. It tells very real stories through like a sci-fi lens. It's an incredible series that I highly recommend to people. There's like very little gameplay involved, but it's
It's an
worth your
adventure
time.
game, kind of, right?
It's worth your time. It's absolutely, it's an event. It's got little puzzles, but yeah, it's absolutely worth your time to play. It says end of 2023, but we actually have a date, and it's actually a really close date. So the beach episode is actually coming September 20th.
Oh,
Which is
yeah, so it's very just 3
very
weeks away.
soon. Yeah. Basically, near towards the end of the month, this new beach episode will come out. My recommendation, Finding Paradise. Thank you. My recommendation for anyone who's jumping into the series, of course, is play To the Moon, play Finding Paradise, play Imposter Syndrome, and then play this. Like, don't play, but also play them in order because they're actually episodic. Like, despite not stating otherwise, like you should play them in release order because the story kind of carries over from one game to the next. So yeah, so highly recommend the series. I may or may not had gotten teary-eyed in streams with these games, but you know,
Nonsense.
bots don't exist anymore, and you know, there's no proof.
You're a stone cold streamer. I know you, Baku.
No proof of it ever happening. I might have gotten a little choked up on certain points. It hits really hard. So highly recommend
it sounds like it would absolutely wreck me for its entire duration if that's the case.
If you don't want to see people, if you don't want people seeing you crying on stream, maybe play it like private. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this next game, I think this next game is like kind
This one's up my alley, dude.
Derek's alley. So,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
All right, guys,
All right.
get ready because here's a game that somehow evaded our radar before, but we managed to catch it just before the release date. So we added it to our section right on here. Spike Chunsoft is publishing a game developed by Good Feel Company called Bakeru. This Goemon-inspired game will follow the titular hero, Bakeru, who will travel through 47 prefectures of fairy tale Japan to stop Oracle Saitaro and his festival troops from taking over Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, Bakeru. Let's check it out.
This game looks so good. I want to play it. Not gonna lie, like this is one of the games that I got kind of excited. At first,
yeah.
I was kind of like whatever, but the
My buddy-
more, yeah,
I got a buddy who played it already, the Japanese release, Jimmy Hoppa.
Yeah.
Go check out his YouTube channel, guys. And he's got a lot of good things to say about the game.
the more gameplay I see, the more I'm like, wow, this is not just like an imitator, you know, like,
Yeah.
but like it's got its own flavor, you know, it's got its own originality. It looks like, you know, over the top, and it just looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So like obviously the theme is like folklore but like more cartoony kind of thing. It's not like an Okami kind of situation, right?
No.
But also like, you know, a lot over the top actions. It's got robots. It's got Oni robots.
Like Ganbare Goemon was one of my favorite Nintendo 64 games, Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. And this looks like a very similar vein, because I know that Goemon also had some like NES and PlayStation releases, but this one appears to be more in the line with like that almost Zelda-like action adventure kind of. Was that a kart race?
Yeah, it was.
I love it.
It's like, it's so feature rich. And I'm like, how has this game gotten so little coverage?
I mean,
You know,
I know we
like-
talked about it a long time ago when it was first announced,
Yeah.
for Japan.
Yeah,
But
and we had so little to go off on at that time.
oh,
Look at this giant robot battles.
just like Impact. Oh, it's not first person though, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Oh man,
this looks so much fun.
that I could jam to this.
Yeah, you're right. Like this could be a nice little thing to play, like, you know, after, I don't know, a Persona game.
Oh man,
After like spending 100 hours with ungrateful teenagers. And robots. This is great.
oh man, I know.
Look at this. Yeah, the more I watch this, more I'm like, I want to play this. I do.
Coming September 3rd,
September 3rd.
2024.
Oh,
Free
September
demo for the
3rd.
Nintendo
That's in 2
Switch.
days.
that's
Two
Oh.
2 days.
yep, that's crazy. That's just around the corner. But man, I'm gonna. Oh, I gotta get a copy of this physical.
Hey, when are you gonna finish Lufia 2, Derek?
I already told you. In 3 years, I'm gonna finish the game. This 24-hour game.
Oh my god.
It's gonna happen. I swear.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, tell us more, Derek.
All right. Well, it's going to be switching. It's going to come out on the Nintendo Switch and the PC via Steam. And also, if you want to try it before you buy it, there is currently a demo available. So, yeah, go check it out. Again, that's called
Alright.
Bakeru. Bakeru.
Yes. Now we're gonna move into.
It is not Baker U.
Baker. Now we're gonna move into. Now we're gonna move into the Nintendo Direct with the Indie World Showcase, and as per usual, when we do these kind of showcase, we're just not gonna go over all the games that were featured in there because that's not really feasible. You know, we basically select a couple that you know, we feel are particularly exciting. So let's go ahead and start with this little indie gem called Moth Kubit. Astrolab Games and Helena Creative Studio announced their new 2D top-down satirical RPG called Moth Kubit. Player will play as Moth Kubit, an ordinary bug who has just been promoted within a mega corporation, a mega bug corporation, and discovers a mysterious final process that's coming his way. So let's take a look at the game. I think it's very quirky. I love it. I think it's cute.
All right.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for these kind of indie RPGs. That the short, they've got a story, they've got a point that they're trying to get to, and they're usually very passionate developers, right? And I love it. This looks really good. The art, I mean, well, if you have a thing against bugs, then maybe don't play this one. But like, I think it's
I don't know. They don't bug me.
anthropomorph enough that it's not like scary. If that makes sense.
Yeah, they're not creepy bugs. They're cute bugs.
Yeah, they're like cute bugs.
Moths are adorable. Like if you ever get like a big picture of like a blown up, like, yeah, a large
Jumping
image.
spiders are surprisingly cute. I don't know what it is
God,
about
yeah.
jumping
Like the
spiders.
big-
They look
big beady eyes.
adorable.
I know.
I wouldn't want one crawling on me still, but you know, like looking at
Well,
it, I'm like, okay, there's that, and then
They
there's
don't
the
crawl.
praying
They
mantis.
jump though, so it's okay.
Yeah, and then there's the praying mantis, which looks like, you know, a bug from hell.
Looks like Zorak.
That and like have you ever seen like a close up look of like a grasshopper?
Oh yeah, they're the worst.
Those things are scary looking.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, yes.
Plus,
So
grasshoppers actually bite you for no reason. It sucks.
oh yeah, and they turn into locusts. Like they just transform, like out of nowhere. Like grasshopper and locusts are like the same bugs,
Really?
exact same individuals. They just like transform and just like wreak havoc.
Gross.
Anyways, Ugh, I can shiver from thinking about like actual bugs. So yeah, these are the cute bugs, right? So this game is slated for spring 2005 for
What?
Switch and PC
I'm sorry,
via
what?
Steam. What?
Spring of what year?
Oh, spring of 2000. Oh, 2025. Wow. Did I say 2005?
You did.
I'm sorry. 2025. 2025. Well, spring of 2005. That was what were we even doing in spring of 2000? We were in high school.
Graduating?
We just got out of high school.
Yeah, I was graduating or something, man.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry. Spring of 2025
Yeah.
on Switch and PC via Steam. So yeah, you don't have to time travel 20 years back to get the game, but you will have to wait a little bit, maybe 6 months or so.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about something here that it's not always my cup of tea, but you know, Capcom, they're kind of on a roll with bundling and releasing their old games and stuff. So we're going to talk a little bit about Oh wait, no, not that one. We're talking about Capcom Fighting Collection 2. Sorry, Fluffy. Capcom, this includes 8 games, including Capcom vs. SNK, Capcom vs. SNK 2, Capcom Fighting Evolution, Street Fighter 3 Upper, Power Stone 2, Project Justice. I can't go any higher than that. And then Plasma Sword Nightmare
I was like, go
of
on.
Blistine? Anyways,
Sure.
the things that you need to care about here are really just Power Stone 1 and 2. That's awesome.
Oh my god,
my
that
God.
got me so hyped when I saw Power Stone 2. Like what?
I know. Power Stone 1 and 2 hype. Speaking of Dreamcasts, you know, this was
Yeah.
I actually got to play it on the Dreamcast with my friend like around the launch of Dreamcast, Power Stone 1 that is.
Yeah.
And that was so much fun. Man,
Power Stone was something else. Power Stone was something else.
it was the original Smash Bros. Basically, like I mean, you didn't have like the giant selection of characters, but like it felt like Smash Bros. But like you know,
Top
with
down.
a little more dimensionality. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
So many friendships ruined over Power Stone. It's like I can't wait to ruin more friendships with Power Stone.
Oh man.
Yeah. Want to take a look at the trailer?
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Let's check it out. How long until the Breath of Fire collection though? That's the real question.
Breath of Fire collection would be interesting.
I have to ask every time it happens.
So like Capcom versus SNK, I'm pretty happy about because I think it was a pretty good.
Oh yeah, I played them a lot.
collaboration.
I have
back then.
several. I think
8 beloved games. Capcom's doing it, man. They're bringing it.
see this is how it ought to be done.
Yeah. Just throw in a collection instead of like reselling them as each individual game like they're freaking new. They're like, they're not new. Please stop it.
Like they're like it costs us literally nothing. Let's
Dude, Project
give people a good deal.
Justice. Project Justice.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone remembers Project Justice, also known as Rival School in Japan.
Oh yeah, Rival School. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I am somewhat familiar with that.
Plasma Sword. I don't remember playing Plasma Sword, but like, it's one of those like, you know, relatively unknown Capcom fighting games that didn't really make it out of like the initial 3D like, you know, era. Then the main character showed up in like a Capcom vs something game, but that's about it.
I feel like if Capcom were to treat this more like a more like the way that Nintendo does with their old properties, could you imagine like a Capcom online service that you subscribe to, and like you have to be subscribed, but then you have access to all of these cool games?
That would be crazy.
It'd have to be
crazy.
I don't know if it could be as much as like a Nintendo Switch online service, but
But you know, like, I mean, the cool thing about all this is, you know, fighting games, unlike other games, there is something new that they're adding to all this that makes it like maybe exponentially more exciting, right?
Yeah.
And that's online playability.
That is also really cool. And I'm
Yeah.
yeah. So personally, by the way, when I said like an online service, like it would be neat, but I'm so much happier that they're selling these to you on a cartridge that you can actually have and own and just have access to all of these games. That's so much better than an online subscription service. And that's why I was saying like if Capcom was being a bit worse of a company, this is what they would do. Is they would
Yeah.
make it into an online service and people would still eat it up.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they're not doing that. That was kind of the point I was trying to, make, but I was distracted.
But yeah, but this is super awesome. Yeah, just in case anyone's wondering, it's like, oh, wow, why do we care about this in in 2024, 2025? Like, why do we care? It's like, yeah, because you can play these games online. Like playing Power Stone online against other people
Oh,
is
dude.
like just mind blown. Like,
Yeah.
the fun that you can have with
Like
this.
I have Power Stone on Dreamcast. I still
Yeah.
want to play it this way though, because then I'll actually be able to have a session against somebody. Like, because here's the thing. I don't know if y'all know this, but like, I'm not in high school anymore, and I don't know
It
if
may
you
have
noticed,
occurred to you.
but like I'm not around all my friends anymore. Like they all moved away, and I've moved away, and then I moved back, and they're still
Yeah.
gone, and so it's getting to actually play with people is
Yeah.
so nice. So
It's a big feature, man. It's a big feature. But I am kind of hoping that I would get it just for Power Stone, honestly. I would. Like all the other games are fine, but like I would 100% get just the Power Stone 1 and 2. I would pay for it just for those two games.
I bet.
Anyways, this is releasing sometime in 2025. There's no exact date yet, but
Yeah.
it will be on PS4, the Switch, and PC via Steam. Here's the thing. Like, I would love. I think the Switch and PC would be preferable. The Switch
Yeah.
because of ease of like local multiplayer, and PC because like Steam. Like you can just you don't have to join anything to play against people on the web.
Yeah, that does sound like the
PlayStation
way to
4
go.
weaker proposition personally, but
yeah.
yeah, check it out, man.
All right. Well,
All
I
right,
think you've got this next one here.
I do. So this next thing, the newest Rune Factory title, previously known as Project Dragon, just got a new title for the West and an expected time frame. The official Western title for the game is called Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. And we do have a new trailer to go with that. So let's take a look at that new trailer. Because it
You
actually
betcha.
looks really good.
I know, dude.
I didn't think I was going to say this about Rune Factory, but,
was-
series evolve, things
I know.
change.
And I'm glad because it went from like a very, like I didn't mind it, but it looked a little generic.
Yeah.
And now this looks cool.
Yeah, the other Rune Factory just like extremely chibi and like it's whatever. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But like,
Like, not
this
bad.
looks very unique.
This looks inspired.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because it's like also happens to feature like Japanese towns and like mythology and stuff. Like sure, that's a nice bonus and stuff, but like it just looks like they've elevated and moved it forward again from where it had been.
I offer these humble words.
So you can play as two main characters, Subaru Kaguya. Like they have like different weapons too. I remember the last time we looked at it, they had different weapons that they can use. I think you can use like talisman as like an actual like main weapon. Well,
Oh
of
yeah,
course there's
and the fact that
farming,
you can like
guys.
not just do the farming, but it's also rebuilding an entire town. Like that's
what
the
it
other
seems
cool thing.
like.
No, they've confirmed that.
Oh,
That's
they've
also
confirmed?
yes.
We'll do this
I did check that out and for JRPG Weekly Update, and like there's a bunch of different seasons and towns that like do different themed like festivals and stuff for those seasons. It's cool.
Stop! We don't have to fight!
I think we would make a fine team.
If you're going, then so am I.
It looks really good.
Those hats look so evil, man.
I didn't think I would ever say this, but I'm actually pretty excited for Rune Factory. I didn't think I would ever say that.
I mean, I liked Rune Factory 4.
Remember everything.
I'm not probably going to go back to it anytime soon, though. Considering how long it takes me to get through Lufia 2.
Oh, jeez.
But,
One day, Derek, one day you'll finish Lufia. One day.
You know, what's actually, I think, one of the big contributing factors to my slowdown on Lufia 2 is that I'm trying to increase the rate at which I put out videos and like reviews of like, or first impressions videos and other things. And like that time to make those videos severely cuts into the time I would normally be spending playing and streaming on Twitch. It's like I want to do both things full time, but like I also have like a full time job and it sucks. And
This is what happens when you're a content creator,
yeah,
and it's not your full time gig.
I know. And I could just
Yeah.
stream it or play it offline, but I don't want to. I like streaming too.
I know, and when you stream online, like you guarantee you can extend that gameplay.
Yeah.
Guarantee you, it's gonna take you longer and not like less time.
know.
Anyways, that is the perpetual streamer problem. This game is slated for spring 2025 on the Switch and PC via Steam. You know what? I realized like a lot of these games are like on Switch and PC. Like I don't know what it is. It's just like Switch and PC. Like, do you not want to release this on anything else? But it's also not like a Switch exclusive because it's going on PC. So I'm like, I wonder what's going on over there. I don't know. But yeah, it's going on Switch and PC. So via Steam. So check it out. Early 2025.
All right. Well, guys, after months of silence
Months.
of Konami, the last we heard about this, Konami was like, "Oh, we're actually not going to release it when we thought we would. It's been delayed indefinitely." So after months of silence, Konami is back with some good news on Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remasters, Gate Rune and Dunan Unification Wars. The games will return with updated graphics, new aspect ratio, new what?
UIs?
Yeah. I thought it was a UL. Okay, UIs and sped up auto battle. Yeah, like fast forward and stuff, like double speed.
Yeah.
Let's check out the new trailer that came out along with the new release date that they've provided for us.
New trailer from Konami. Another thing I didn't think I was going to say anytime soon.
So I did a little bit of comparison between the original announcement trailer and this one. And I think that the time that they've spent between then and now has been a big improvement.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like if you look at the original announcement trailer and like compare the user interface, it's huge. They've also added like environmental sound effects. If you listen, like when they run around, there's footsteps, like sound of streams, like water and stuff. The UI with like the character portraits were completely redrawn by Junko Kawano.
Wow.
Yeah, the text boxes are gorgeous. They used to look very generic white rounded squares.
I mean, those are the new UIs that they're talking about, you know?
Yep.
All new user interface. It's not just menus, guys. Like UI is like it's
All
a lot of things.
the particle
Yeah.
effects have been completely redone for all of the character battles and stuff. Like when they're doing Unite arts and such. They've done a lot to
I feel better about that.
yeah.
I feel better about that.
Yeah, it's not just, went dark and did nothing for a while
Yeah.
for no reason. Like you can see that they've been continuing to do some important work, and I'm excited to see how it's actually going to be when it comes out on the 6th of March of next year.
Next year. 2005.
2025. Baku. He had written 2024 on the script.
I was
Nope,
in a
next-
hurry.
Yep. We'll just stop writing down years from now on. How about that?
Yes.
Just, March 6th. And it's coming out on all major platforms, including PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox Series, the One, the Steam, and the Switch.
All the stuff. All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Except for phones.
Yeah. No phones. But although, I mean, if they wanted to, I feel like phones could totally handle this.
Maybe. There's a phone game I almost talked about during JRPG Weekly Update. Did you
Oh, yeah?
see the Disney RPG, the Disney Pixel RPG for
It
phones?
looks like it's gonna be another gotcha thing, so I skipped it.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
too. It looked neat, but like, yeah, at a certain point, I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, this is super exciting. I feel a lot better about Suikoden 1 and 2 now, because at first I'm a little skeptical, especially because it's Konami, and I'm
Konami,
just
yeah.
like, is this just gonna another cash grab, like a convenient cash grab? And they're just like, yeah, whatever. We don't care. We don't truly care about this. And like, when a company release a thing and like they don't really care, like you can tell they don't
Yeah.
really care. Like it's obviously you're not remaking the game, but like just little things like the UIs, like it shows like whether or not you've given it the attention to detail that it deserves. And with the new trailer, it looks like they might have actually given it proper respect, if you will. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's-
we'll see what happens when it comes out.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, Konami might just be taking a page from Capcom when it comes to releasing these like beloved games in collection to really cash in on the nostalgia. They have announced that they'll be releasing the Castlevania Dominus collection, which consists of 3 titles: Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, Portrait of Rune, and Order of Ecclesia. I think that's how it's pronounced. Fans will probably appreciate the ability to play these new titles on more modern consoles, just like all the collections that we kind of talked about, with new quality of life features like rewinding and quick saving. So yeah, let's take a look real quick.
Alrighty, let's check it out.
Yeah, Castlevania is one of those games where like I don't play it myself, but I've got to give it proper respect. When a whole genre of games is named after your game and another game, you're kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Castlevania Dominus collection.
So, what were these originally released on? Were these
I have
GBA or?
no idea. They look newer, a lot newer than like the original games. I would imagine maybe GBA, maybe
that doesn't-
DS.
Oh, maybe DS. Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
look, because it's got the
Maybe
side.
It's got the little 3D thing going on.
Yeah, I was gonna say on the top right they got another map, so like maybe that's from another screen. Maybe.
Yeah. No, I can see DS.
Yeah.
It's a little too much color palette than GBA.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I'm not big on, Castlevania or Metrovania games, but I know a lot of people love these games, so obviously. So, it brings me to like a bigger point of like maybe Konami is trying to really push these games out. And look, if they do a good job at it, I'm not mad at it. Like if they do a good job and it's not just like a quick cash grab and like they're not trying to do something.
Oh, 4 games.
Oh, 4 games. It's not
Yeah, there
3
was
games.
there was another one.
They said 3 games on the website, but I guess I must have gotten it wrong. It's 4 games.
Interesting.
Go back to the website and look at it. Maybe 3 like DS game, and then one that's like completely remade.
Could be
Because
that.
that one looked like it was a complete remake. Yeah, so I feel like this is one of those things that like is worthwhile to talk about. Oh, one is an arcade game. Thank you,
Okay.
Anthony. Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe they were saying like 3 games were from like console or something. It's interesting.
Super
Dominus
cool.
collection. Yeah. So this kind of gives me like hope that like, you know, if they're doing this right, they might release other Konami games. Konami has a huge backlog, and
Oh my
not
God.
backlog, huge like IP lists of
They do.
some of the most beloved titles, and they just like do nothing with it. But you know, this could be a good way to come back. I don't know. We'll see. They can
Okay.
find that passion again, and not in pinball machines. Maybe, just maybe,
Let's
they
hope.
can come back.
Let's hope. So,
right,
we
so-
gotta. Oh, go ahead. Oh
I
yeah.
was gonna say, this is coming out in September. This is not coming out. This came out in September. I mean, not September, August. God, what am I saying? August 27. So it came out like a couple days ago. I know it already came out, but since we didn't talk about it before, we're bringing it here. And it is released on PS5, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC via Steam. So if you're a Castlevania enjoyer, and for whatever reason you haven't gotten this yet and you didn't hear about it, first of all, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Come on.
But also, yeah. Oh, that's right. It's because we didn't do the hit point. No, you know
yeah.
what? It's not your fault. It's our fault. We didn't do the hit point, so
How
you
dare
didn't
you,
get the
Baku.
news.
All right. Well,
All right, Derek. What else we got?
we got a new trailer from Square Enix helping showcase the Dragon Quest HD, Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D. It was included in the Nintendo
Square
Direct.
Enix. Look at you giving us new information about games
Yeah.
that you plan on releasing
Yeah.
and not shadow dropping them.
Crazy,
Look
right?
at you.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's check out that trailer.
Look at It's such a low bar for praises. Like, oh, you are actually promoting your games. Well, that's swell. You know,
know,
Square Enix.
It's only interesting because they haven't been doing it for a while, but you know, it shows that like, yeah, there's a new guy in charge, and they're like, yeah, maybe we should advertise.
Yeah, they have a whole new company structure. We've talked about
that's
it in the
adorable.
past, right?
That's
That's
like-
like a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, that's slime.
Yeah, starts from the top, absolutely. I'm starting to see like the changes like kick in, so I want to believe that they are doing what they can to make these things work out. But
Yeah.
yeah, we have a release date now, so that's exciting.
Yeah. The 11th of I'm sorry, no, the 14th of the 11th month, November 14 of the 25th year. You had 2024 on the brain there, dude.
You found the most complicated way of
The 14th day of the 11th month of the year 2025, day of the
25?
Lord.
is this 20 is this 2025? I thought this was 24.
Oh, is it so? Oh my God, it is 24.
Yes.
Why do I have 25 on
Why
the
are
brain?
you correcting that? All right, you know what? I'm going to do this. It's going to come out on November 14th of this year.
Oh man. See, let's just stop including years. I think that's what we've come down to. See, you were in 2005. I'm in 2025. We're
Sorry,
all
this is
over
2024.
You're gonna out me as a time traveler,
Thank you,
bud.
Mr. Val.
All right. So, yeah, it's coming out on PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series, the Switch, and PC via Steam.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to see how this one will do because in a previous show I've said that I'm not as optimistic about this game doing well, and I still am not that optimistic of
Yeah.
this game doing well.
I mean, it didn't do particularly well the first time it was released in the US.
I mean, that's kind of the problem, right?
Exactly. It's a nostalgia game that, well, it's nostalgic for some people, and I think y'all are gonna really enjoy it, even if you haven't played the original. Probably more so than if you had. So yeah, definitely keep your eyes on this. But then again, I will say that at least our audience has a marked amount of excitement surrounding this game, even though it's not as it's not like Dragon Quest 8. It's not like Dragon Quest 11.
It's no DQ5. Let's just say that.
Ooh, yeah, that's true. But
DQ5 is the one
that one,
everyone knows.
that one also never came out in the United States initially, though, right?
Yeah, initially no. Yeah, but subsequently it did, and people are like, "Oh yeah, we can see why this is like the legendary one." Or like at least one of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see how it goes. And it's an interesting choice for them to pick DQ to do the HD2D, tests, if you will. They could have done this with a number of games. They have a number of, pixelated RPG title that they could have given the HD2D treatment. But here we are, right? So we will see what happens. This next one, I'm personally very excited for because it's one of the games that I really enjoyed, and it's coming from Bamco, announcing that they will be releasing the Tales of Graces F Remastered, which is following the trend that they have been doing, releasing remastered versions of older Tales games like Symphonia and Vesperia. This time is Graces, and not just Graces, but Graces F. So this particular version of the game consists of the base game, which is Tales of Graces, but also the F tells you that there's like the after story section for it. So very neat. And it's only available on PS3 from what I understand. So, not exactly easy to get to. So the fact that this is coming to Steam is going to be make it a lot more available to a much wider audience. You want to take a look at the trailer real quick?
Definitely.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Grace's F. I thought the story was pretty good. The characters I actually care for. And I'm really hoping that anyone who has not had a chance to play Grace's F would enjoy it as well.
Now, I think they're calling this part of like the Tales of Remakes project or something, or
Tales of Remake project,
or the Tales. They called it as something specific, like as part of like an overall project of remastering the Tales series.
That I didn't know about by name, but I'm not surprised because again, it's following the trend of releasing these older games.
There's an article on this that refers to this as the first step in the Tales of Series remastered project that will revamp older titles for comfortable playing on modern consoles. So
interesting.
Yeah, there's
I mean, they had kind of already done it. They were already doing it before, so how is this the first one? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's bizarre.
But here, I'll throw the source for that in chat here.
Okay.
So people can... Oh, there we go. So people can... Giant link. There we go.
Yeah, so I like Graces, and like the bonus content F is actually like not really short either. It's got a little bit of meat to it, so I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It just like extends the gameplay of the main game, and I appreciate it. I liked it. Some people may not have liked it, but I really did. The 30th anniversary series remaster project. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know why they're calling this its own project, but hey, maybe it means that they're just wanting to announce that they're going to be doing a lot more of this soon.
Symphonia and Vesperia is like a weird joke to you.
Well, maybe those were already recent enough that they were playable on modern stuff, whereas Grace's F was specifically trapped on PS3, which cannot be played on PS4, PS5. I wonder, whereas all PS4 games can be played on PS5. And yeah,
PS3 is that like odd duckling
It
of
really
a
is.
architecture that like makes everything super hard to port over.
Yeah.
Like PS1 and 2 easy emulate. PS4 and 5 are basically the same architecture as like a PC, but PS3
yeah.
is just
So I'd be
complicated.
very interested to see if they plan on doing like a Tales of Tales of the original Fantasia, Tales of Fantasia 1 and 2, maybe getting remade at some point.
They can just remake those all together. They
Yeah.
won't even remaster those. I'll just remake those.
Maybe.
Like,
Or maybe
get-
if there's some that were trapped on like PSP or
yeah.
something
Well,
like that.
there's a lot of Tales games that are stuck on like handhelds. Lots of them.
Yeah.
There's the I don't know if people can appreciate how many Tales games there are out there. Like you can name the couple off the top of your head, like Fantasia, Zillium, Berseria,
Symphonia.
Vesperia, Vespia, Symphonia. Like those are the more well-known ones, but like there's a lot more to
Yeah.
Tales. Like it's been around for a long time, and a lot more prolific than like Final Fantasy, for example. Like
Yeah.
they used to pump out like a new like Tales game like every year, like sometimes twice a year, on like a main console and on a handheld. It's a lot of games.
So, and they say that they're going to be doing it to improve comfort as well, specifically. So I wonder, when they say comfort, I'm like, well, when I play on like a tiny controller on a handheld, that's not super comfortable. So maybe this is an indication of like the titles that they're prioritizing. So
I
we'll
wonder
see.
if did they remaster the Abyss yet? Because Abyss is another one that like a lot of people like. I didn't like Abyss personally, but a lot of people really liked Abyss. So yeah, so I'm curious. I actually don't know if Abyss came out. But anyways, yeah. So this is coming out early next year in January 17th on all modern consoles. I'm excited. I kind of want to go back. I want to play it again. This would be my third time playing the game because I played Tales of Graces. I finished it. Then when Graces F came out, I played the entire thing again.
Wow.
I think on stream. It was one of the first earliest games I played on stream on PS3. So now it's coming out. I was like, ooh, I'm kind of itching to play this again. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Well,
All right, well, Derek,
before that
here.
happens,
Ooh, here's the.
all right, everybody.
Okay, are you ready?
All right. Hype responsibly.
Yes. I
Hype
know.
responsibly. Okay. Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, the first remake was announced. Back in July of this year, Falcom President Toshihiro Kondo has mentioned to our friends at Noisy Pixels that there was a title that they were working on that they could be considered a remake. Now we know what that title is. They were working on the remake of Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky FC. And we have a trailer, and it looks incredible.
Is
So
the
we're gonna play
Japanese
that real
trailer?
quick. Oh yeah, we're gonna play the
wanna-
Japanese one because
Yeah.
it's a little
'Cause
bit
we don't
longer.
have an English one yet.
Yeah, well, there's that too.
One day. Yeah, so people can stop yelling at me about playing like the evolution version.
Oh man, this is exciting. Look at that. This
I
is like 60
know.
frames, 1080p. What do you think this was captured on, Baku?
Probably 30.
No. It's 60.
Is this 60?
Yeah. What do you think it's been captured on? What do you think is running the game?
Wise?
Yes.
I don't know, actually. I actually don't know.
It's
hard
only
to
been
tell.
announced for Switch. They announced
only
it during the
been announced for
Nintendo
Switch.
Direct. It would be a little weird to
No,
have.
but not impossible. But
Uh-huh.
not impossible. This might not be the Switch. I don't think the Switch looks that good. No offense.
I agree. That's my point. That's my point. I think
Yeah.
it's something else. I don't know what.
Yeah.
It might be. It might be PC. That'd be kind of Switch and PC. That's kind of been a trend. It could be PlayStation 5.
Right?
Could
Yeah.
be maybe even PS4, but I would probably put it on PS5. Or I mean, it might be that yet to be announced successor to Nintendo Switch that Nintendo is gonna be
The Super
talking.
Nintendo Switch.
That's what it could be. It could be that, but we don't know. Hang on, let me take another look at that trailer real quick.
Okay.
Because I just wanted to see the end here. Just okay. So here, if I switch back to theater mode. All right, so that's the end screen. We have where it says Nintendo Switch in the top right corner. So it does say it will be coming to Nintendo Switch.
That's it. Yeah. Well, this is from
But what
the
if-
Nintendo Direct, so
yeah.
they won't tell you anything else.
So it will come to Switch at least,
Yes.
but maybe it'll also come to something else.
Super,
We don't know. They
super
haven't
Nintendo
announced it yet.
Switch.
And the weird thing is also, as far as like the publisher, they say that it's to be determined.
Mm-hmm.
They say it's TBD, to be determined.
Well, the logo and the title is TBD.
Yeah. So it's like,
Hmm.
but yet they are also from other screenshots that they've shown with like English text and stuff, they appear to have some reuse of the XSEED localization in place. Like one for one, dialogue, which may indicate, since this is not, this is a little bit different. This is not something that they're trying to protect all the spoilers for it, because the game's been out for 20 years. Maybe Falcom's actually going to do a simultaneous release. Could you imagine? Could you?
You know what? If they can just condense this into a single game with like maybe the third,
It's not. They've only committed to
if
the
they
first
could
game
just-
so far. They
first game
should.
is just like a glorified prologue. Like, just put it into the same game. Just put it in one game. Like,
To be fair, I mean, they're a small company still.
fair.
Not as small as they used to be, but they're still pretty small. To be fair, it's entirely possible that they've only committed to doing this, but once they have, you've played Trails in the Sky SC and the third.
yeah.
The amount of like work that would have to go into making new assets to do those games would be minimal. Like, it's literally
Yeah.
just, all right, let's put in the new scenario into all these assets. Like, and that's still a lot of work,
Yeah.
composing the areas and stuff, composing the scenario.
The exact same towns.
Yeah, same assets. You don't have any more 3D modeling to do. It's
Except
done.
for the third. Third's
Okay, maybe a little bit
different,
there.
but
A little bit.
still, yeah. All the models are the same.
The vast majority of all of the
Yeah.
modeling and stuff, it's done.
Yeah, identical. Just pull those straight into the new game.
Yeah, the combat system, it's done. It's mostly.
Exactly identical. It could have been just one game.
This could have been
They
an
could
email.
Just make
No.
all three games into one single game.
One single 300-hour game.
Do it, Falcom. I dare you.
They won't.
You won't.
Anyways, so this remake will be made using the same engine as Trails Through Daybreak. Man, that looks even better than Daybreak, though.
I know.
And is expected to be released sometime in 2025.
Which is extremely fast.
Yes.
It's extremely fast.
Especially
don't know if people
considering that they're
understand.
also making other Trails games right now.
Yeah.
Like they didn't stop making other games. They're really ramping up production over there at Falcom. And I am very, very proud and happy for them.
So months and months ago, when people asked Kondo if they would ever remake Sky, they said no. Like, he flat out
I know.
said no.
He absolutely
flat out
said no.
He wouldn't.
He said
I
that
mean,
they wanted to prioritize finishing the game series before they have to retire.
Yeah. And like, now things have changed. And I don't want to make it sound like he was like lying. Like, oh no. Knew.
I really
He
don't
was-
think he wanted to, but I think there was just
I-
so much demand.
and that he can do it.
Yeah.
It's like the demand is there, and our resource, we have the resource. Like, these games
It's
are
true.
selling. We're making way more money than we thought we would.
Yeah. The game's done. Like,
Yeah.
Kondo doesn't need
So-
to continue directing. Like, somebody else can just use the original game as sort of like use this as a point of reference and go.
Are you okay?
Yeah, just got broken into my office by this dog. Go on, Turbo. Get out of here. Andy, no, out. God,
Your dog just
turds.
showed up. Like, I want to be in the show.
Yep, I know.
Hello.
I'm gonna go shut the door again.
Okay, go for it.
All
Go
right,
for it. Go for it.
you take the wheel.
Yeah, I'll
Here.
try to like not embarrass you too
Oh
hard.
no,
here.
go ahead. I'm gonna maybe I'll get
yeah.
another drink too while you go for it.
You know what? Go for it.
I
Go for
trust
it.
you.
I'll warm the crowd. I'm trying to not shut the show down. We want to see Turbo. No, sorry, Turbo is not in today. So hello guys. Hi, welcome. Yes. Yes. Okay, great. Vision of Mana was really good. I just want to go back and say Vision of Mana is really good. I don't know if you guys heard me saying this earlier, but Vision of Mana is actually really good. I needed some time to digest. I sounded like a lot more apathetic on stream, but no, I now that I had some time to think about it, it's really good. It's really good. Play it. Sorry, I had to go back to talk about Vision Mana again as soon as I could. I was just saying, like on stream, like people were like, "Oh, so how you like it?" I'm like, "I think it's alright. It's alright. You know, it's fine." Maybe as part of me is like a defense mechanism of like don't overhype myself as I'm playing the
hype
game.
responsibly.
I'm like, it's alright. It's alright. Yeah, just calm down there.
Yeah,
but now that I've had like almost 24 hours to think about it,
Yeah.
no, the game is freaking good.
Yeah.
It is. It just is.
It is. I know. I did you play the demo when it first came out?
I did not play the demo when it first came out. I played the demo like shortly before I started the stream, just so I can just take a look. But yeah, no, I didn't play it when it first came out because I wanted to be as new and authentic as I could possibly have it, a take on it. And then the first thing that we're greeted with is just like graphic issues and frame rate issues, and I'm just like, ooh, that's not a good look, right? That's a horrible thing to run into as soon as you start the game. But we've gone through I've gone through maybe like 2 chapters, if you will, of the game, and
okay.
So far so good. It's really clean. I'm liking the direction of it. It's fresh. It's a fresh take. Anyways,
That's awesome.
but back to the other thing that we are super excited about: Trails.
Trails. Yes.
Trails. Yes.
Did we not finish that segment?
No,
I
not
thought we
yet.
did. Oh, okay.
No.
Well, anyways, yeah, it's
Turbo
coming
came
out.
in, and then he was like, "I want to be on the show." And then Derek's like, "No, you're not."
Oh yeah, I feel like I had covered pretty much all of what I wanted to say about Trails in the Sky, the first, except there's just a lot of questions still left up in the air, and and there are some negative Nancy's out there who are very disappointed that it's not just a part of the original, which I understand, but
Of course.
you can play those on other platforms right now. It's not like they don't exist.
Yes.
If you want to play
they
the
exist
originals,
on modern platform. You can go to Steam right now and just get the OG game.
I know.
That's what I said about like FF7. People were like, "Oh, FF7 Reborn, Rebirth, like I don't like it." I'm like, the OG game
Cool.
is still available.
Go play it.
Like everywhere.
Exactly.
Just play the OG. If you
But
like
some
the OG,
people-
play the OG. They exist.
Some people just aren't happy until they're mad, man. That's the truth. Some people they can't be happy about stuff until they have something to be mad about.
Yeah. So here's the big question, right? The big question in everybody's mind. Actually, before we go to that, the prediction that we had, and I still remember this, we talked about this because back in July, it was just not that long ago when we talked about that particular thing from Noisy Pixel. Shout out to homies over there.
Yeah.
Who gave us that interview.
Yeah.
And Kondo's like, "Oh, well, we do have something we can call a remake." Shut up, Kondo. It's a remake.
Sly dog.
Sly dog. I was kind of debating between 2 things. I was like, it's either they changed their mind and they are remaking Sky, which we now know is the case, or they're remaking East 5, which is still the title that no one wants to touch. Falcom does not want to touch East 5. It's complicated. It's the black sheep of the family.
Yeah.
We have basically a modern rendition of every single East game up until 10, except for 5. Yeah. If you think about that. And in retrospect, Sky would be a lot easier to do a remake of than East 5. East 5, they probably had to completely rewrite the whole thing. It wouldn't even be a remake. It would just be a
A
new
replacement.
Yeah, it would just be a new game altogether. They have to rewrite the entire thing, redo the entire. Nothing probably can be kept other than just some like basic like geography and some basic plot lines.
Could you imagine? So you have a third option: a remaster, a remake, and a replacement.
East 5 replacement. Do it, Falcom. Come on, Kondo. Be a trendsetter. You thought remaster and remake were the only thing that's available? No, there's another around. There's a new kit on the block. And it's called replacement. Even we really didn't like the OG game, so we're gonna replace it with this one. Okay, so this is the game moving forward. But yeah, super excited. But here's the question, Derek: do you think they will remake Azure and Zero?
If this does well, they will definitely continue on to do SC. And if they go on to make SC, they may as well do the third. So I think even though it's not guaranteed at this point, I'm sure that Sky the First is going to sell well, because look at it. And it's already a beloved game. So once people, like, for real, this feels to me as exciting as when I saw the announcement of Final Fantasy VII Remake, when we all thought that was the remake, like an actual just standard remake. So this feels big to me. In fact, I had a question. I wonder, when was on the timeline between like the announcement of the original release of Final Fantasy VII to the announcement of Final Fantasy VII Remake, how many years was that? I suspect it's a similar number of years as between the original release of Trails in the Sky and Trails in the Sky, the first remake.
Announcement. Anyways.
Yeah. I wonder. I think that it's pretty close approximation. And I feel like there's a very significant amount of people who are going to be very excited to play this, in a new way.
You know what? The viewers will be able to tell us in the comment section later on once they do the math and they're like, put on their detective hats.
Yeah.
I would love to see that timeline. How long did it take?
Because I feel like this was originally like a 2004 game on PSP, right? I want to say. So that's been 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
And Final Fantasy VII came out 1997.
Yes.
And then
96, 97,
Remake was probably announced in like 2012? 2013? I don't know.
It couldn't be 2012. It couldn't be 2012. Oh, announcement though.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you're right. Announcement. Just the announcement.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Because then they went on to develop it for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it won't take 5 years.
I feel
for
like
this
there's some.
show.
I feel like there's some analogies, some
interesting little patterns being discovered. Yeah.
So, anyways, what I'm saying though is overall, I feel like this feels as big as 7 Remake's big announcement, and I think people are going to be pumped to play it, and I think it's going to do really well. And when that happens, they may as well continue with Zero and FC.
Yeah.
Eventually, that's going to be if they continue
down the line.
If they continue to do these remakes and they continue to be successful, why would you stop?
So I think this is actually a good thing to do for a different reason. So like FF7 remaster. Oh, sorry, remake, not remaster, remake. It's, for all intents and purposes, it is a reboot of FF7, right? Yeah. It doesn't follow the original storyline. In fact, the more it progresses, the less it follows the trajectory of like the original game, and that's kind of what we're seeing. What was speculated when we played Remake, and then now that Rebirth is out, we're seeing it even more clearly that is diverging from the OG like timeline. This is different. This is the authentic experience, or at least it's intended to be that way. They're not redoing the story. Everything has to still lead up to whatever our games are currently. They're not, going to retcon anything that I can think of. And so this serves as like a nice jump in point now, and we don't have to keep asking like, well, where do I start with Trails? Well, the first game got completely remade. You don't have to be like, oh, do I want to?
That
I'm not
really
a big
does
fan of the
streamline the-
2D.
That was my first
more or less-
reaction
Yeah.
when I made my videos. Like, people are gonna finally stop shutting up about like, where do I start Trails?
Right.
Okay, by the way, I did go ahead and, while you were talking, I did a little looking of. So
Okay.
the time between Final Fantasy VII and the remake announced was 18 years.
Okay.
The time between when Trails in the Sky FC and this was announced, 20 years.
No, pretty close.
Crazy to think about. That
18 and 20. Yeah.
it's been longer. It's been longer between FC being remade than it was for 7's remake. Like, if you think of, that's pretty wild that it only 18 years to 20 years. Like, it's,
well,
for whatever reason, it felt like 7 was like so long ago.
it's the early day polygons. That's why.
I know.
And also, Remake is a very beautiful game. Like,
I actually
the
just picked up
state-of-the-art,
Rebirth.
just so there's that. Whereas this is still relatively cartoonish. I mean, not cartoony, it's like animated, relatively. Not to say that it looks bad. Quite frankly, I don't need it to look like, I don't need every remake to just look like Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think that's like overkill. And it's evident in how much time it takes for them to develop the dang thing.
True.
Like, I'd much rather you just do this. Like, truthfully, if you're gonna have to remake a bunch of games, I'd much rather they go through the Trials of Mana route, the Romancing Saga 2 kind of route, or this kind of route. Like, is it the absolute most gorgeous state-of-the-art 3D rendering technology? No. Do I need it to be? Absolutely not. I don't care. Like, this is more than good enough. Like, this is good.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a fraction of the cost and a fraction of the time to do. No realistic graphics. I don't need it. But I really do think that because of what we just said, they are going to do SC. They are going to do a third. I've seen how Falcom works, and I think that two things. One, the fans are not going to let this game flop. They are not going to let this game flop. They will come out in drove, and they will buy like 5 copies each. Number one. Number two,
it's not even ready for pre-order yet, and I have 5 copies.
Number two, Falcom, they're very methodical about planning things. Like, they're not suddenly saying, oh, we're going to remake the first, unless something like catastrophic happens. Like, they're not going to stop at FC. I have very high expectation for them to at least complete the trilogy.
They're definitely very methodical.
Yeah, they plan this out. They wouldn't even take this first step if they had no intention of remaking all 3.
I think
That's
that you're
thought.
right. And I think that the only reason they haven't already confirmed that they're working on those is because they just need to have, one, some funding for that project, which is probably going to be paid for by the sales of this. And then also just because they want to be able to have an out in case it bombs, which it's not going to, but they're very methodical and they're very thorough. So that's why.
I respect them for that.
Yeah.
They take their time. They do things right.
This is the sort of thing that keeps them from doing a Final Fantasy 13.
Oh my god, I would never let them live on that Crystallis Fabuloso, whatever.
I mean, and when I say the 13, I mean like the Final Fantasy 13 project series where
Yeah,
like they kept
that's what that thing is called.
oh god. And
It's
then
like Crystallis something.
Final Fantasy 13 Versus that gets like put through development hell.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, this is how they
Yeah.
avoid that by
Yeah.
just taking things one step at a time and not overcommitting to something that could fall through. And yeah,
I mean, I like the way that they are announcing this anyway. Like, even if in the back of their mind they're saying, yeah, SC, and like maybe they're even in development for SC already, because parallel development is not exactly new to the industry. Maybe they're already doing it.
could be.
They already know they would do it. I'd rather they take their time and tell us like a year out, because what's the point of telling me like 3 years before the game's released? Like, just don't pull a Square Enix, or at least the old Square Enix. Like,
Yeah.
this is like maybe a year out. Like, I'm cool with that, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll keep it
This
on
is
the
good.
radar. Yeah, this is good.
All right, we
All
have one more
right.
game to get hyped about.
One more game, guys. Okay, don't fall asleep on us now. Don't leave just yet. We've got more news for you, and this one is also another long-running series. Toei Tecmo announced the latest mainline title for the long-running Atelier series. This new title is called Atelier Yumia, the Alchemist of Memories and the Envisioned Land. The game follows Yumia, an alchemist who must confront her past, her memories, and the art of alchemy. I am actually very excited for this one. I've said that a lot, but this whole like Nintendo Direct has had a lot of things that I was excited over, and this I was excited for some reasons we'll talk about. So why don't we check out the trailer real quick, and then we can go into it.
All right.
So right off the bat, as soon as she starts talking, I'm like, I think we have a more mature main character. And anyone who's followed the Atelier series knows what I'm talking about. I'm like, she's at least 20. Like, I'm like, maybe for once we don't have like a 16-year-old or something.
She doesn't
Like,
have that anime like high-pitched girl voice right now. It's very
she's got a little bit more mature voice to her. And I think it might be a change that they're going for. So I don't know how many people have played the Atelier series in chat, but like Atelier series, actually, they changed the way that the game is played in a way that I really respect. They keep the core. They always have the alchemy. This is good.
Yeah.
But like every like trilogy series, there's a theme. And like within that theme, they change out things, different elements, different way of telling the story. Certain games is more bleak. Certain games is more about like coming of age. Certain games is more about like traveling with friends. And for example, they're always trying to change up the formula in some way, right? For example, with Sophie and all them, like it's a different kind of LTL experience versus like Liza. Liza is more like, how about we focus more on like the battle, right? So they have like real time, no, it's not real time, but like a time, like almost like an ATB kind of battle system, whereas like the other games is like strictly turn-based, like, so battle feels more thrilling in Liza, and also it doesn't follow different main characters, it follows the same character, so it's like minor tweaks on the formula, right?
Yeah.
This is and if I'm right about it, I don't know, because I don't know how to, but if I'm right about this, I think this is going to tell a very different story. This is going to tell not a coming of age story, but someone who is older, more experienced, maybe having some regrets and like confronting their past. So I think it's very interesting in seeing how this plays out.
That is the vibe I also get from this trailer.
So fingers crossed. I've liked the newer Atelier series. The older ones is like a little hard to get into. Some of them is a little archaic, and it can be very what's the word? It's a little clunky. But the newer series like Ryza and whatnot has been very easy to get into, even for people who have not been in the series for a long time. I can't say that I've been in the series for a long time. I only played like 4 games. But yeah, definitely really looking forward to this one. If they're able to change the formula up a bit, it looks great already. So this is slated for early 2025, which is again not that far from now.
I know.
Like it's only a couple months.
It's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be a
know,
packed
Derek. Hey, when are you gonna finish Lufia 2? Do
In
you
3
think you
years.
can finish Lufia 2 by 2025?
No, 3 years from now is 2027.
Oh man. But yeah, but that concludes our new games announcement. I hope you guys enjoyed all those games that we've talked about, man, because there was a lot of games.
Oh my
but
gosh.
we ain't done yet. We're not
No.
done yet. We still got industry news.
That's right.
Yeah.
Industry news.
Industry news. Yeah. So you wanna kick us off with
All
this
right.
one?
Yeah, so we got some events that are coming up here. Starting with the RGG Summit of 2024. Ryoga Gotoku Studio will be hosting the RGG Summit on the 20th of September this year. That should give us some more information about the newest Like a Dragon titles.
Yeah.
I'll also
then-
cover this next one because it's not a whole lot here. But
Yeah.
Level 5 is also going to be doing their own showcase here pretty soon called To the World's Children. And that is going to be just a few days later on the 24th of September, 2024.
So exciting. So the RGG Summit, of course, is going to be some new Yakuza news, or new like a Dragon games news.
I wonder if they're
maybe
going
the
to talk more
spin-off?
about the show that they're making at that. I wonder if they're
Ooh, I wonder if they would. Like they can talk about like anything.
I
Like
know.
that's the kind of cool
could be
things when your
anything.
company will just basically do like one IP. I
I
mean,
know.
technically
It's-
2 IP. There's Judgment, but Judgment's just a spin-off of like a Dragon because
Mm-hmm.
RGG doesn't do anything else.
Yeah.
RGG
I mean, and they also
only
had
does-
Ishin, and that was
Yeah.
kind of a spin-off also. Maybe
Right.
maybe they're who knows what they'll announce now.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm a longtime fan of the Yakuza series. I'm still trying to get Derek to play Yakuza 0 because I think it's one of the best game in the entire series. Even though it's like the very first game chronologically speaking, it's still just one of the best. Like I think he'd be so hooked.
Okay. I was going to say like Kiwami I know that that's coming out
Kiwami's
on Switch. here
Kiwami
pretty
is
soon.
chronologically the second game.
Okay.
Yes.
Cuz 0 is chronological. Okay.
The prequel. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So if you imagine like Kiwami is the remake of the very first Yakuza game,
Yeah.
then
Yakuza 0
Yakuza
is like
0
the
is the prequel that
prequel.
they had retcon.
Is it okay to start with a prequel?
Yes, absolutely. Because
Okay.
0 is designed for you to be able to start on and be a starting point for the Yakuza journey. So it's basically written and designed out so that you can play with that game. Absolutely recommended. It's so much fun. It's all the I mean, you played Like a Dragon before, Derek. So it's just that. It's all the laugh and tears and heartache and drama that you
Yeah.
can expect. Just not turn-based. That's the only
Deal
thing.
breaker. Just
Yeah.
kidding. Just kidding. It's fine.
Yo, for some people it is though, and for some people it's the opposite. So
No.
it's it's interesting. But 0 is definitely it's got some grown people crying on stream. That ending was just it hits.
Are you trying to convince me to play it or to avoid it now? I don't know. Don't make me feel
I mean,
things.
you can just play it
okay?
off stream. I mean, you can always. There's no shame in crying on stream, Derek. I think a lot of people want to see it.
Oh, okay.
All
My
right.
enemies.
So, but and for level 5, Decapolice is going to be in there, and we're
Yes.
also excited to see Decapolice.
And Fantasy Life also got delayed, and
yeah,
I
it
feel
got
like
delayed. Yeah, so
that's,
they're going to talk about it there
they
too.
probably
so.
gotta But Decapolice, that's the big one. That's the big one I care about. Yeah.
Yeah,
And of course they're gonna
a brand new title there too. So
and of course they also have to announce Dark Cloud 3 at some point.
maybe Dark Cloud 3 is the brand new title.
Maybe. All right. You want to talk about this next one here? Because looks like
well, sorry, just one more thing. Both the summits can be viewed on YouTube. Just want to throw that out there. So yeah, we will have links in the description later on to link you to the YouTube. So think of us when you have to find that link again. Be like, oh snap, I want to watch the RGG. Where am I going to find that? Well, it'll be in the description after the show. All right, next up, I did want to talk about this because a lot of us depend on XSEED for the publication, and some of you guys know XSEED is tied to Marvelous, some of you guys are not, but let's talk about it.
It's a little complicated.
Marvelous USA and XSEED will split out into two separate labels, basically. Which causes some confusion generally among gamers who enjoy their works. So here's the breakdown. Marvelous USA will be responsible for Marvelous franchises like Varmagia.
Farmagia, yep.
Varmagia, and the aforementioned Rune Factory, the thing that we were just talking about earlier, that would fall under the Marvelous USA brand. Also providing business operational support for their like RK releases, which I didn't even know they had RK releases, but here we are. XSEED Games, on the other hand, they're responsible for third-party titles. So Corpse Party 2, which we talked about that are coming, XSEED Games will handle the publishing of that game in the West. East Memoir, so Falcom Games, right? Like those are going to be handled by XSEED Games and not Marvelous USA. So minor little things, but I do like that they are making these changes, just the branding and a better understanding of what these companies actually do.
Personally,
sometimes
I feel like that makes a lot of sense because XSEED has a really strong brand name here in the US still.
Yeah.
As being like a localizer of Japanese games, of various titles, as like a localization team and publisher. So it makes a lot of sense, I think.
Yeah. So you're gonna hear us talk about XSEED quite a bit moving forward. So yeah, so that's what happened. Boring business stuff, but important because we enjoy the products that they push out. So clear distinction needs to be had. And then
because before it was just kind of like whatever. I know that Marvelous did a lot of like local or publication of what was it, Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2 in like the PAL territories and stuff. So
yeah,
like it's just I don't know.
But now
it did
definitely
make sense,
a lot more clear cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You want to take this last one here? Just oof.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about this one. This one's interesting.
So this ties into the title of the day's show. So Bloomberg has indicated here that NetEase Games plans to close the Ouka Studios. Ouka Studios was opened in 2020 by Chinese tech giant NetEase in Japan. So it's like local. So it's Chinese company, NetEase. They made this studio in Japan called Ouka Studio in order to better facilitate working on Japanese games alongside people like Square Enix, for instance. Bloomberg writer Takeshi Mochizuki says that NetEase Games has been cutting staff at Ouka Studios since the spring, which is pretty wild. So anyways,
you did a great job pronouncing that last name, by the way. That's like probably one of the harder ones for it's one of the harder ones. Hey.
Thank you. So thank you. Appreciate it. So so Ouka Studios, for those of you who didn't catch this, is the company that actually made Visions of Mana, which
development studio,
the development studio Visions of Mana. So and that was kind of like indicated shortly, like the day of the release of Visions of Mana. So what's going on here?
Yeah, so this is not like announced but I think NetEase has already quietly admitted that this is happening because they've already said something along the lines of we're constantly, reevaluating the landscape and we're constantly shifting our resources. So, which is a very corporate thing to say, of course. And so I mean, the only reason why they kept the studio alive is probably out of like contractual obligation to finish releasing Vision of Mana. And as soon as that is done, and any remaining work, they may just close it. But what's changed? Like what's changed? I quite honestly, I think there are two different factors that are playing into this that people may not be aware of. They're not just like closing things out because for the fun of it, like it costs money to open a thing and it loses value if you lose. So they are losing money by doing this. But so why are they doing it? I think it's two main factors. Number one, Wukong happened. Wukong, along with like
factor?
Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is South Korea.
Yeah.
And basically these games came out and
Did
it's
super
really
well.
just showing that like you don't need to work with Japan necessarily to get like a blockbuster hit for first person experience. You don't.
Yeah.
I mean, Stellar Blade, the guy who owned the studio, he went on ISP, became a billionaire. Right? Like people are invested in his company. Stellar Blade did really well. Just universal praises all around. Okay. Wukong, I don't know much about it, but it was like one of the most played game on Steam. Like it has a huge reception. And the praises are just like not ending, right? Like people loved it. And so that's one factor, like, because if I'm a company and I don't necessarily need to keep investing in Japan, maybe I won't, right? Like I just need to invest in China. And quite honestly, China, if I can find these like young developers, they are way cheaper than Japan. That's just reality. Is the
Yeah.
wages in China is cheaper even for even for technical workers. Okay, so because as soon as you think China, you're thinking factory, right? You're thinking Foxconn or something, right? You're thinking, putting iPhones together. And yes, like those
I mean, there is some
factory
of that,
workers,
but
yeah,
not
like
necessarily.
quote unquote low skill workers are inexpensive, relatively speaking, right? Factory workers. But what else is cheaper is actually even programmers are cheaper in China. Any kind of technical workers are cheaper in China. So if they can make Wukong, then why don't I just make another Wukong back in China, right? So that's
Yeah.
one. The other thing, which is a little bit more political, that I don't know if people are aware of. So I want to explain this because maybe people don't know the situation. The situation in China is really bleak right now. I don't know if people may not follow this, but I follow it because it's my people. So the housing market is just like stagnant in China, with one of the largest, I think it's called Evergrande, one of the largest land developer filed for
Evergrande.
bankruptcy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a huge deal.
They've been like a zombie company for years now.
Well, zombie buildings.
Yeah.
They would just have like the shell, and then like they won't finish it, right?
Oh, but I mean, like this company's been like on the verge of like they should have been bankrupt a couple years
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah,
but
it's
has
bad.
been propped up. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so the economy is not going well, and like you also have like a bunch of kids. I mean, look at what happened in the States back in like 2009, right? You have bunch of kids, and I was one of those kids coming out of college, and I couldn't. It's hard to find a job because the recession. So
Yeah.
similar things happening to China right now, where like there's a flood of kids every year who graduate from college, who were basically promised if you go to college and you compete and you do well, you will come out and you have like a cushy tech job. That's not true.
Yeah.
No longer true. So these big tech companies are incentivized by the Chinese government to withdraw investment and bring it back home. So, and I know people are like, oh, this is a scummy move. And you will never hear me defend giant Chinese tech companies on being scummy.
Sure.
But I do want to throw that out there. It's like, yes, there is a actual reason why this makes sense for them. And that's my insight. Looking at the economy and the trend over there, like this is probably the reason why they're closing. And what that also means is they're probably going to close up additional companies,
Additional
moving forward
operations, yeah.
in the near future. Yeah, because it doesn't make sense for them to invest in Japan anymore,
Mm-hmm.
right? Especially with yen bouncing back, like no, it doesn't make sense. Just invest back home. We have plenty of inexpensive, fresh out of college kids who would love to have a job and do stuff. Why not? So that's not surprising to me. What I am curious to see, though,
Mm-hmm.
and I also added it to the note. What I'm interested to see is whether or not Square Enix may actually pick up Ouka Studio.
That's the big question. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was curious
I-
about that as well.
I'm intrigued to see whether or not they would do that. Or I mean, it could either be Square Enix or like another conglomerate, like what was it? Who are the people who acquire?
Oh,
Kodansha, I think it's Kodansha.
no. Kadokawa?
Kodakawa.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those. But like, yeah, they might do it. So, and the reason why I bring this up is because hey, if you guys don't remember Tango Gameworks, guys, Tango Gameworks, the people who made like Hi-Fi something.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Kadokawa, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush. You know remember how we were like trashing Microsoft, and now see Microsoft, they had no reason of doing this. But we're trashing Microsoft for closing them down, right? Well, guess what? Someone came by and swooped that up, right? Crafton, which no one has heard of. I guarantee, well, I guarantee, but
I was like, is
will
that the cheese
wager-
company?
Huh?
It's like Crafton. Is that the cheese company?
The cheese company? No, sorry, sir. That's Kraft cheese.
Oh, okay. Not Craft On. Oh, okay. That's Craft Off.
No lie, I thought the same thing when I heard Crafton. I was like, Crafton? Is that like Kraft cheese? Like what?
Right,
Like,
yeah.
what they doing with Tango Gameworks? Yeah, but they're the PUBG publisher. They picked up Tango Gameworks from Microsoft. Like that's not unthinkable. So it might not be the end
So
for
Square
Ouka
Enix
Studio.
could do this, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one way or another, even if the studio is close, remember the studio is made of people.
Yeah.
So
And the people can be
as
picked
long-
up. And
Yeah, I
hired.
mean, Square Enix could just pick up the people and just be like, I don't need the studio. Like they just work internally.
Yeah.
So don't feel like these people are just out of work and they're down their lucks and like no one will pick them up. I don't think that's the reality. The reality is they're probably getting headhunted by Square Enix, if not another company who is trying to ruin Square Enix. That's like a strategic move.
There's also a strong possibility. I mean,
Kadokawa.
the video game companies generally work with a lot of contract employees, so it's for a lot of people who are probably in Ouka Studio. It's probably not too terribly different.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're
The job
like
was
down on
done.
their lucks and living on the streets. Like they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad that Ouka has to go, but I'm kind of also relieved that maybe we're running into less influence from like a Chinese tech giant. So I'm kind of like half and half on this. Like I'm not upset about this at all. Like I feel a lot different about like Tango Gameworks was very different because they just made this amazing thing. It wasn't just that they developed it, it was like a complete in-house thing from like concept to execution.
Yeah.
And they won all these awards and then they got like laid off.
Yeah.
Like
It's not
they
quite the
found out
same
when
degree
everyone
of
found out. Yeah.
It's not
This is
quite the same
different.
degree as backstabby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is different. This
Still
is like
not
a
great.
slow...
Still not great, but not
Yeah.
backstabby-ish.
Yeah, they've been cutting staff like over time and like they're slowly writing this off. But if they're slowly doing this, that means that people are slowly picking up these same staff as well. So I'm just not as upset given the circumstances.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, if Trials, Visions of Mana, rather, if that continues to sell well, Yeah, I don't see why Square Enix wouldn't.
So far, the
Pick them up.
rating's pretty good. So
That's what
I've
I
got
hear. I
hopes.
hear, you know, I was listening to this podcast,
Mhm.
JRPG news podcast, where this one guy had been playing a bit of it, and he sounded like he was really enjoying his time with it so far.
Yeah, I'm excited
I
to
think
see
his
the
name was
future
Baku.
of mana games, where they are not, treated like sad like stepchild of Enix, and given like the proper respect that it deserves, because it's a brilliant brilliant universe, beautiful art aesthetics that unfortunately for the last like maybe 20 years they haven't really seen like any breakout hits, but it's coming, I can
Yeah.
feel it. All
Well,
right, sir.
how long has this been going on? This whole stream. Has it really been? Well, before we wind down, we still have quite a few super chats and stuff that have come
We
in throughout the
do.
day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's kick off some of these super chats. We've been holding off on responding them as is tradition, but now is that time. So, starting things off, we've got let's see, classic comment here from uh, bro dude man bro, who says, "I love you, Baku."
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right. Next up, Still Alive says, I'm doing a playthrough of Trials of Mana, the original for the first time. Oh, okay. The Super, yeah, Trials of Mana, the Super Nintendo one. What characters and classes would you recommend? Also, any general tips and tricks you would recommend?
Ooh, okay. Um,
Big question.
the general tips and tricks is this. I would say if you want an easier time, make sure to at least have one person who can heal. Because
Yeah.
healing is quite important. Especially, there are a couple of fights where it's like frustrating in how quickly they can deplete your health if you don't like heal yourself up again.
Hmm.
And deferring to items only could be a little difficult, because I think you only have, I forgot if they changed it in the remake, but
Oh,
you
they're
can
not
only
doing
have
remake
like,
right now. They're playing the original.
oh, they're playing the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, even more so in the original. I would definitely have at least one person who knows how to heal. Is it doable to play with any party in any job makeup? Absolutely. I've tried all kinds of crazy
It
things
just
when I was a kid.
gets a little
Uh,
grindier, right?
uh
If you don't have somebody,
certain bosses get really hard
yeah.
because you have to only heal with items only, and it limits how much you can heal.
Yeah. Now, if
And
you pick a
yeah,
character who cannot heal, there's a certain point that you might be able to extend their abilities, and you'll know when that happens. Um, so if you somehow picked somebody without any healing abilities, that's a good time to go find out who can do what, depending on what path you take,
yeah.
and maybe amend that. That's something I ended up having to do because I didn't have anybody who could heal until a little while on. So
Yeah. My favorite party is the three girls. I think the three girls just rocks together. And they can just basically annihilate anything. I typically go with a buff debuff. So I would use Rise in with the team buffs.
mhm.
And then I would go with Charlotte with her like single target debuff, like full debuff, just one spell, full debuff on a single character. And then I would have I think what's her name?
I can't
Forgot her
remember. It's
name.
been too
Oh no.
long.
The mage. I would use her, and I would have her be uh I wouldn't pick the, I mean, she can just be anything. Like all her classes are devastating. So it just doesn't even matter. And she's mostly there just to like quickly take out trash mobs and be able to do like massive damage to bosses. Kind of a glass cannon, but that's why you have a healer dedicated. She just doesn't ever die. So yeah, just go with that party, and you can't lose. Like, you can't. You'd have to try very hard to lose with that party. That's why I'll leave it. But yeah, but
All right.
Angela, thank you. But yeah, but like the guys are they're not bad. Like they're really fun to play.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing
yeah.
I was gonna say is just pick at least one character that you just think looks cool and fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just do that. Hawkeye.
That's my favorite.
Duran is like the standard like swordsman.
I like
You
Hawkeye.
can't go wrong.
I think Hawkeye's awesome.
Hawkeye is fun. He's got all these quirky skills and traps.
He's the
So you want to
thief.
experiment.
He's the rogue. You gotta have a rogue.
And then what's his name? I forgot the monk guy. Like he's just a powerhouse. Like he's just brutal like efficiency.
Oh, yeah.
He just trashes everything. So yeah, there you go. They're all great. Kevin, thank you. Yeah, they're all great. I love the game. In how you can play it in any given way.
You can play it
Another
twice.
tip-
One, you play it with all dudes and then all girls.
Yeah, you can
Do
do that. Or
two different runs. Get all the stories.
yeah, the one tip is that like whoever you pick as the first character, that's the main character who's like determines what final boss you will fight. So just keep that in mind. So just make sure whoever like the first one you pick is
Yeah.
what you really want to follow the story of. You also watch that person's like beginning story first and play through it. So you're gonna have a more intimate, connection with that first character you pick. So it's not all three are the same. Like whoever you pick first is the main character.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Next up from Anthony H. They say, I love RPGs. I wish I had more time in a day. Maybe I could take a vacation for 10 days and play Visions of Mana. What do you think?
I think you should just take 10 days of vacation period.
Yeah. Vacation time is, if you have 10 days of vacation time, spend it. Vacation time that you don't take is money left on the table. And some places will like pay it back at halftime, but as far as I see it, like, no, don't sell your vacation time back. Take it for the full value as a full day off and enjoy life,
I'm going on vacation for 3 weeks at the end of the year. Hey.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Going to Vietnam and Thailand. Look at live like kings. Oh, I should send you pictures of the places we booked, man. It's freaking crazy. And
Sounds
then
awesome.
you wouldn't believe how much how
How
little
not
we're
much.
paying.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't believe how little we're paying for it. Yeah, I'll send you some pictures later.
I would totally go, except I have a suspicion that Vietnam would probably not be very great for an American to go to at
No?
this point. No?
No,
They don't
Vietnam is-
hate us. They don't hate our guts over there right now.
No. I mean, I'm Chinese and American. Like
No, I know for you. I'm saying for me. Oh,
No, I'm saying that's even worse.
oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm like that's even worse, bro.
I got you.
Yeah, no. Vietnam nowadays, I think it's not even remotely the same as how it used to be. Yeah,
They're not as concerned. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And Thailand's always nice. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Eagle Knight responded to a rant that we were on. Well, actually, before I move on, Anthony Nelson dropped a couple of really cute fox stickers. Anyway, okay, so or Anthony
you.
H and then Anthony Nelson. So thank you for those. But then Eagle Knight says, "What's a cushy tech job and where can I find one?" But they spelt it with a K.
well, I mean, California certainly has a couple of those. I mean,
Yeah.
off
yeah,
the books. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Just remote work. You'll be fine.
I was gonna say, being in a tech job here in Kansas doesn't quite feel as cushy as it could in other parts of the country, but yeah.
Yeah, they exist. They exist.
Next up, Yum Game says, well, Tencent Chinese Holdings owns a lot of companies like Marvelous, Riot Games, Epic Games, Shift Up, and Ubisoft.
So yeah.
They're an investment company, though, right?
Mhm.
Does that mean that they have control? I mean, these companies that they've named, are these just they have invested in them, or is that like they have a controlling ownership of? Because I feel like
It's
there's a
complicated.
difference.
It's complicated. Tencent and NetEase are the two biggest like tech giants in
Yeah.
like they're like Google and Microsoft. Like if you want to have like an analogy, they're not exactly, but if you can imagine them as such, right?
Yeah, they're not one to
And
one, but
they
yeah.
dabble in all kinds of things. Okay, and the percentage of ownership varies, right? Some things they own, some things they have shares in, so it's not quite the same. The point is they have influence, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think we talked about it in previous
I think we
shows.
might have talked about it in the
Yeah.
context of like also Saudi.
Yep.
Saudi.
Saudi
What was
is similar.
what was that company that was
You mean Nintendo?
owned? No. There was a Saudi company that bought a big stake in something recently. Oh, God, I can't remember it anymore.
You sure it's not Nintendo?
It may have been
Because they own like a fairly large share of Nintendo.
yeah.
But they've invested in a very large share of Nintendo.
And I think that we were talking about our concerns of the fact that basically transforms into influence, because then you can say, well, if you don't do things that make us happy, then we will just sell, dump all of our shares,
yeah.
and then your stock price will plummet. And yeah,
Yep.
Embracer
Yeah.
Group, that's the one. That's the Saudi one that I was thinking of.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that, and as far as like an investment's concerned, like just remember, guys, like short of independent companies and like truly indies, like all of these companies are beholden to their stakeholders and shareholders, or shareholders more like. Uh, you can say you can profess your love for Square Enix all you want, but at the end of the day, it's a publicly traded company. And by publicly traded, I mean like foreign investors can also trade in that by large volumes, and they can have some stake in it that they leads to decisions that you may not like. It's just reality of things is what it is.
Yeah.
But back to the whole Tencent and NetEase thing. Yeah, you're right. They own a bunch of things, and some things are profitable. Like they're actually just genuinely profitable things that they own. Like, for example, Tencent owns League of Legend, basically. Riot. They own Riot, right? And
Yeah.
Riot makes bank, right? That's a money making venture. Some other ventures, there are two less scrupulous reasons why they are doing it. One is influence, like shadow influence, which is basically what I talk about. The other one is actually easier for them to conduct technological espionage, which is a huge problem for the states and other companies. You would think that, oh, it's just a game. Like, what are they going to get out of it? Plenty of things. How do you think China catch up so quick with like being able to make a game like Wukong? If you think technological espionage didn't play a part of that in how to like model things and using different engines and stuff, you'd be crazy. They didn't reverse engineer that. HD 2D, how did that just spring up in China? I won't tell. But do I have suspicion that it was technological espionage? Probably. So that's why these companies are set up, right? Like they invite people to go in, and sometimes it's not as like sneaky. Like they'll invite people to work on it, they will learn from it, and then they will take that knowledge back. Like,
Yeah.
but that's more like, what are you gonna do? Yell at them for learning? Like, So yeah, there are reasons why these companies exist, and they are about as shady as you would imagine. But that's business. So
Yeah. Sometimes business is just shady.
yeah, it is what it is.
So next up, we got another question, question from Still Alive, who says, "Do you guys like the Visions of Mana OST so far? The soundtrack."
Have you heard the soundtrack yet, Derek?
I mean, I played the demo, and I got. I mean, it's a pretty lengthy demo. I played like 5-6 hours of it, and there's been a couple weeks between now and then, but I do recall nothing offensive about the music. I don't have any favorite tracks so far, though, from my time playing it. Like it's fine background music, and sometimes that's all it needs to be.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, as long as I'm not like irritated as hell by the end of the game by the music,
Yeah.
then good. That it has done its job. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's like the opposite spectrum to absolutely loving, because loving a track, right, is absolutely hating the track. Like
Yeah.
it's equally likely for it to happen, right? So
Yeah. And to do that, it has to stand out in some way, take some risks. I don't recall, and I didn't play very much of the game, so I haven't heard all of the music. To be clear, so from what I played, it was fine.
you know, it's funny because that's basically exactly what I said yesterday when I was streaming it. Like
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, the music's fine.
Yeah.
It's just, I haven't heard anything that like really stood out to me and like, wow, this track, like what was it, man?
Yeah,
It's
like at some point
so
it might
good.
happen, further into the game. There might
Yeah.
be like a boss soundtrack that's just like, whoa, this blew me away. But yeah, it's just ambient, kind of, yeah.
Yeah. I think Derek and I are both just like 5 hours into a game. I mean, me starting from the beginning, Derek only played a demo, but it's just
And the demo was maybe an hour or two. Like basically, I got past the boat, and it started right at like a snowy area that you kind of like go through a tutorial area.
yeah.
Like that was the demo. I suspect that's probably only like an hour or two in the game.
No, that's 5 hours in. I just
Was
got
it?
out of the snowy area and starting in the beginning of where the demo started.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I just got there after about 5 hours. But then I was also running around just looking at things.
Yeah.
And that's a great sign. For open world.
Yeah.
Kind of open zone.
Did you
Open
get
zone.
the
Yeah.
mounts that you get to ride around on yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
I haven't
you're
gotten there
so
yet.
close.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yep. Those little like fur balls, right? Those little wolf looking things. Are they wolves? Like they're
They
like
might be
giant
wolves,
wolves
or
with
They're
tiny
like
legs.
dire
like,
puppy.
I don't know what they are. They're cute though. Yeah, but we're almost there. We're almost there. Like another like 30 minutes and I'll probably get there. So yeah. But I do like the game so far. And to Derek's point, like maybe like crazy banger music is not strictly required. I would love there to be some further down. Trials of Mana had some amazing tracks. Some of the
Yeah,
best
it really
tracks. Yeah, but we'll see. Thank you for the message.
Well, we are all caught up, and it only took us 3 hours to do today's episode. Holy cow!
Only 3 hours, really? That's
Only
it?
only three
Only
whole
3
hours.
hours.
Of course, probably telling our stories at the beginning of the show when we were fresh.
That took like 45 minutes already.
I know. Oh, jeez. Okay, we did just get one more super chat here from Game, who says Tencent owns Activision before Microsoft, right? I don't
know
Yeah.
personally, because I don't follow Western studios because they don't make games that I play. Like I don't play anything Activision.
Yeah.
I can't think of any game that I would play from Activision Blizzard that I would play.
StarCraft.
No.
I mean, I played StarCraft back in the day. That's the only
back
one.
in the day, yes. But like
Yeah.
talking about like in
That's-
2024, what are they releasing that I would play? Zero things.
It wasn't in my wheelhouse, yeah.
Yeah. That's the only reason why I don't like follow it. Not to like dismiss the question. Like
Yeah.
it's just not
Diablo
things I
wasn't really
follow.
my thing.
Yeah. But if
Yeah.
they start investing in Nintendo and start collaborating with like Square Enix, like Studio Ouka, or start like poaching people from RGG, which they totally have done, okay? Yeah, then I care. Then you've got me on alert because like you're about to mess with like my territory of things, okay? So, but Activision, whatever, like live or die, I don't care. Like I genuinely have no no concern for Activision. If like
Especially
the
after
company
like all
closed
the
down
negative
tomorrow,
press
I'm
they
like,
got.
okay, like
Yeah.
sure.
All right, folks. Well, I think that about does it for our show today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's show, please be sure to give it a like or follow on whatever platform it is that you're currently enjoying us on. We also, upload podcast episodes to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all that good stuff. So go check it out if that's your cup of tea, and we appreciate ratings and such. It really does actually help us grow, especially if you go over to the HitPoint YouTube channel, where we also have all of our VODs available that you can listen to and watch after the fact. That's also super useful. Anthony H also says, have a great week, guys. Thanks for the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a great rest of your night, and and I hope you enjoy your holiday. We'll see you on the other side next weekend, I
Yeah,
hope.
long weekend, everyone. Woo!
All right. Wait, where's the
Hippo
button?
stickers.
Where's the
Woo!
button? Okay, bye.
Bye.